A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, Laura, the Ace's maid, insists on a $2 a week raise or she'll quit. Jane tried to bluff her this morning, but it didn't work. This episode takes place just after dinner the same evening and is in alternating scenes between the Ace's bungalow and the room where Laura lives with a girlfriend. But first at the Ace's, where we find Mr. Ace with his evening paper, Marge with a book, and Betty writing a letter. Jane enters from the kitchen. Listen.
Well, Laura just finished the dishes and went home. Now, I want everybody here to pay attention to me. We've got to go into a hurdle about giving her a raise, because she says she's absolutely going to quit at the end of the week if we don't. So we've got to have a family conference. Dear, you might as well put your paper down and listen to me. Marge, stop reading that book. Betty, stop writing. I'm not going to talk myself horse in the face for nothing. We've got to get this settled, one for all and all for one. Are we going to give her the raise or not? Raise your hand if you think we should. I'll count them. 1. Well, am I the only one?
It looks that way, Jane.
Marge, this is no laughing matter. That was a fine thing you told me to do this morning, bluff her.
Didn't work, huh?
Didn't work. First I told her I was going to hire another girl, and then I acted like I was calling the post to put in an ad for a girl. The minute I was through, she started to call some other woman about taking a job there. That was a fine thing you got me into.
I'm sorry, Jane. It looks as if Laura's mind is made up to either get a raise or quit.
I'll save the world it is. She says she's absolutely going to quit by the end of the week if we don't give her $2 a week more. Now, everybody here knows what a marvelous cook she is, and how she keeps her room spick and span, and how she knows how everybody likes their steak, and the seasoning and everything. And if she leaves, it means we'll have to get a new girl and start from scratch. And it may take weeks or months before she's as good as Laura. Now, will you please raise your hand if you think she should get a raise or not? I'll count them. 1. Oh, what's the matter with everybody here? Am I talking to a deaf wall? Dear, will you put that paper down?
Ace, will you kindly attend the meeting?
What's going on?
What's going on? What have I been saying?
You've been saying that Laura insists on having
No, Betty, let your uncle tell me. I just want to see if he's been paying attention. Go ahead, dear. What did I say?
You got me, Jane.
There, you see? That's just what I thought. Everything I say around here just goes in one ear. Now, you listen to me. I'm talking about Laura.
Yes, Laura wants her raise or she threatens to quit by the end of the week.
That's right, Mark. She says she can't make both ends meet on $10 a week. She has to have 12. Now, if you think we should get a new girl and start all over teaching her everything, all right. But if you don't, we'll have to give her the raise. Now, all in favor, raise your hand and I'll count. 1. Dear, do you see my hand?
Yes, Jane, you may go.
What's going on here? I don't see anything funny about this. If you people just sit around here and not decide on anything, she'll be gone. And then the laugh will be on the other foot.
Well, that's a matter for you and Ace to decide, Jane.
Well, he won't talk to me.
Uncle Ace, you better come to some decision.
I have. I told Jane this morning that we could not give her a raise.
But she's going to quit.
Well, is she indispensable?
No, she feels fine. She's just going to quit about the money.
The thing you have to decide, Aunt Jane, is whether she's worth $2 a week more.
Well, I think we ought to give her the raise.
Well, I think we ought to give her the air.
Do you really think she'll quit if you don't give her the raise?
I told you what she said.
Yes, I know, but I can't picture Laura actually getting up that much energy and ambition.
Oh, it's not her so much as her girlfriend. She's the one that keeps telling her that she isn't getting enough.
Who's her girlfriend?
Oh, the one she lives with. I don't know who she is.
Oh, so she's the one that's egging her on.
Yes, she's the fly in the oatmeal.
In the oatmeal, yeah.
Does she work, the girlfriend?
Yes, and she gets $14 a week. That's where Laura got those ideas about asking for more money. And Laura says she's got another job for more money.
She's already got the job?
She's got it if we let her go. She almost took it this morning when I tried to bluff her like Marge told me. But I told her I'd talk to you again tonight, and she said she'd wait another day.
Yeah, well, I told her just like you told me, but it didn't work. What do you mean it didn't work? It always works. Works with me. Yes, but I guess your Mrs. is different from Mrs. A. Oh, they're all alike. What did you do? Tell me. Well, I bluffed you just like you told me. I said, either I get $2 a week more or I quit.
Yeah.
And she says, well, I guess you'll have to quit, she says. And with that, she picks up the telephone to pull the paper to put in an ad for a girl.
Oh, wise guy.
But I seen that she had her finger on the hook, so I just called her bluff. I says, like you told me I did. Can I use your phone and call up Mrs. Van Pelt and tell her I can start working Monday?
That should have got it. What'd you do?
But you let me use the phone.
Yeah?
Well, I had all I could do to keep my finger on the hook, but I went on through with it. And when I hung up, she says to me, she says, I had my finger on the hook. And I said, so did I.
You told her you had your finger on the hook.
Well, Bella, seems she was nice enough to tell me she did.
Well, if you ain't the prize dope, you're just hopeless.
You wanted to talk to me like that, Bella?
Well, you are.
Now, I had a very hard day, what with having to get dinner and fighting with the missus and promising I'd work with tomorrow.
Oh, you gave her an extra day to think it over?
Yes, I did. She's going to talk it over with Mr. A.
What kind of a cluck is he?
Well, he says he won't give me the raise, that's all.
Well, just wait till she tells him tonight that you're going to quit and that you already got a new job waiting for
But
you.
that's just it. I haven't got a new job.
I suppose you went and told her that, too.
Oh, no, she still thinks I can take my new job starting Monday, just like you told me. But to tell you the truth, I'm sorry I started the whole thing.
Sorry you started it. So how are you going to get more money? Say, what do you want to do? Go on working for $10 a week the rest of your life? Don't you want to get up to 14 someday like me?
Well, yes, but you don't know Mr. A.
The trouble with you, Laura, is you ain't fired with ambition like me.
No, I'm just fired, that's all.
Who says you're fired?
Well, I'm just as good as fired. I wish you hadn't told me about bluffing them. I kind of thought it wouldn't work.
It always works, I tell you. If they like you, it always works. Are you sure they like you?
Oh, yes, I think so. The missus does, I'm sure. It's just Mr. A. Sometimes he don't act like he cares, one way or the other.
Well, as long as she does. If you're sure.
Oh, yes, I'm sure about Mrs. A.
Well, that's all that matters. Now I'm going to call her up.
Call up who?
Mrs. A.
What for? You oughtn't to be calling her.
It's part of the bluff, Laura. I'll say I'm Mrs. Van Pelt. I'll be calling up to ask for you. Now, that'll give her something to worry about, especially if she likes to work like you say she does.
Oh, I know she does.
Well, come on. Let's go down to the drugstore and telephone.
Do you think you oughta?
Sure, I'll tell her I'm Mrs. Van Pelt, and I want to talk to you about coming to work for me. Come on, let's go.
Business isn't as good as it might be right now. I've got to watch every cent.
Oh, but $2 won't break you, will it?
$2 here and $2 there, Will.
But I only want $2 here. Oh, this argument isn't leading anywhere.
Boring me. If you don't want to give her a raise, get somebody else.
Oh, yes, look who's talking. You sit there on your high hat and say, get somebody else. You don't have to show them all the things to do around the house. And I suppose you think you can just get any Tom, Dick, and Mary to wash your stockings the way you want them.
Well, I will admit, Laura finally learned that.
When we first hired her, you didn't live here. There were only 3 of us.
Well, if I'm in the way, I'll be glad to move, Aunt Jane.
Hey, what are you talking about,
Well, I
Daddy?
mean, if it's a question of choosing between Laura and
Aren't
me.
you silly? Who said anything about choosing between Laura and you? I didn't. I'm choosing between $2 and a new girl.
I'm not getting off the subject. I still say we can't pay her any more money.
I tried to tell her that while I was serving her tea this afternoon, but she says that Mrs. Van Pelt
You were serving her tea.
Well, I try to make things easy for her.
You
Oh,
what?
Aunt Jane, you're spoiling that girl. That's the trouble.
Well, I had to try to make her change her mind about leaving. I told her it wasn't a matter of principle so much as it was the $2, but it didn't do any good. I could see she was just dying to take the job of Mrs. Van Pelt.
Who's Mrs. Van Pelt?
I don't know, some rich millionaire. She must be if she can hire a girl to start at $12 a week.
Yes, the phone, Jane.
I'll answer, dear.
Yeah.
Well, that might be for me. Neil said he might call this evening. Hello?
How is Neil after his hectic last week?
Oh, fine now. Hello? For me, Jane? Yes, this is Mrs. A. Who? Mrs. Van Pelt.
Well, of all people.
Yes, Mrs. Van Pelt. You want to speak to Laura? Well, maybe she's still here. I don't know. I'll go see.
Jane, you know she's not here.
Well, sometimes she leaves without even washing the dinner dishes, Mrs. Van Pelt. I have the hardest time making her do things. I just don't know what she's thinking about sometimes. I always tell her she's just good for nothing, and I don't know a soul that would stand for the things I
Jane,
do.
will you stop that silly conversation?
But hold the phone a minute, Mrs. Van Pelt. I'll go see if she did the dishes or just stacked them up. Hold the phone.
Oh, Jane, you shouldn't do that.
Good girl, thanks. Oh, don't forget it. I'm trying to make her think that Laura isn't any good and she won't take her anyway.
Yes, you got the idea, Jane.
It's pretty good, isn't it, dear?
Oh, it's not.
It's changing me all of a sudden like a flash in the pan.
Oh, Aunt Jane, go on. Tell her she's not here.
It's not so loud and hold your horse. It takes time to go to the kitchen and come back. I'll call her. Laura!
Yes?
Who did that? Oh, Mark, you shouldn't do that. You'll spoil the whole thing.
I didn't say anything, Jane.
Oh, Anne, don't laugh so loud. Oh, I better talk to her. Hello, Mrs. Van Pelt. No, she's not here. She did it again. The dishes are just backed up with grease and everything, and you should see the kitchen. It's a sight for sore eyes. Honestly, I don't know what that girl is thinking of half the time. Hello? Hello?
Did she hang up?
No, somebody's talking. Oh, it's the operator. She just heard her drop another nickel.
Drop another nickel?
Hello? Oh, she hung up now.
Wait a minute. She asked Mrs. Van Pelt to drop another nickel?
Yes, I heard her.
Say, there's something going on here. Mrs. Van Pelt using a pay phone?
Uh-oh, there is something going on.
What? What's so funny about Mrs. Van Pelt dropping a nickel? With all her money, she can certainly afford a nickel.
Well, it looks as if Laura overplayed her bluff a little. We learn more about the outcome when next we meet the Easy Aces.
This is Nightline, your open door to people and places, and this is Walter O'Keefe. Nightline invites you to listen in on NBC's award-winning science fiction series X-1.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, Target 1. But first, hear this. The presents have been opened, the gifts enjoyed, and in the case of the kids, a few are already slightly battered. But NBC has one more holiday package for you, and it'll be delivered over this weekend on Monitor. There'll be the music of such bands as those of Guy Lombardo and Richard Maltby, punctuated by the antic commentary of Monitor's own Bob and Ray and Fibber McGee and Molly, and underscored by the up-to-the-minute reports of NBC's newsmen at home and abroad. From Friday night through Sunday midnight, Monitor will bring you another weekend of drama, music, news, and interviews. Of special interest to sports fans will be NBC's coverage of the Friday night fights, Saturday's blue-gray and north-south football games, and Sunday's National Football League championship game. Use and enjoy Monitor, your weekend radio service. Yes, start your weekend right with Monitor on Friday nights, and stay with Monitor all weekend long over most of these same NBC stations. X-1 and tonight's story, Target 1.
Headquarters of the World Council was in the ruined United Nations building in New York. It took me an hour to reach it, picking my way across the red-colored rubble that had once been a proud city. I was ushered into the office of the president of the council, a former Russian scientist named Melkov. It was hard to realize that only a few decades ago, these people had helped us destroy the world in an atomic war that left less than 100,000 people on the face of the globe.
Come in. Dr. Marooned.
Yes.
Good to see you, Doctor.
Sorry I'm 2 days late. I had to land at Boston. It's the only airport operating.
I understand. You want to sit down?
Thank you.
I suppose you are wondering what this is all about.
Very little surprises me, Mr. President.
Good. As you know, Doctor, the Great War of 1960 left very little of the human race. What it did leave, well, 2 billion corpses, 3 continents rotting and unlivable, and every survivor mutating. I believe you yourself have had children who could scarcely be called human. I'm sorry to be so blunt.
Why did you send for me, Mr. President?
Doctor, suppose I gave you an opportunity to do something extremely practical.
Such as?
A chance to prevent the destruction of our world, which took place 30 years ago.
To prevent what has happened? To stop an atomic war?
Yes. Would you do it?
I'd sell my soul to the devil, Mr. President.
You mean that?
Yes.
Doctor, what would you say was the most important scientific discovery of the 20th century?
I suppose Einstein's equation. E equals mc squared.
Exactly. This formula unlocked the atom. Without it, there would have been no atomic energy, and consequently, no bomb, no war.
The formula did not cause the war, Mr. President, nor did the man who discovered it. He was one of the finest human beings who ever lived. A man utterly dedicated to the pursuit of peace and harmony.
Yes, exactly. That is what will make your task so abhorrent, Doctor.
What is this task, Mr. President?
Quite simply, it is the murder of Albert Einstein.
Are you insane?
Perhaps. Only history will record that.
But how in the name of heaven? Albert Einstein died in 1956.
I am well aware of that. In order to commit this murder, Doctor, you will have to travel back in time.
Travel back? You mean that...
I mean that our scientists have succeeded in their experiments. Parachronon penetration has been achieved.
It's fantastic.
Yes, so were atomic energy and rockets to the moon and radio waves long before both of those.
You're actually suggesting that I return to the early 20th century to commit a murder?
Yes.
But why Einstein? Why not the men who took his contributions and twisted them into ghastly inhuman weapons? Why not them?
Because others would replace them. There are many minds so filled with contempt for their own lives that they would be willing to destroy others, so warped with hate that they might even enjoy the job. No, it must be Einstein.
Well, then why me? Why not select some murderer, some fiend?
Because you are a man of the highest morality. This task must not be performed by some twisted monster. It must be done by a man of integrity who fully realizes his responsibility. To do otherwise would be to degrade ourselves and our victim. Come here, to the window. Do you see that covered barge lying in the East River?
Yes.
That barge is the finest laboratory we could assemble. Inside it is the mechanism for complete K-meson penetration, maintaining a stable configuration. In effect, it is a floating time machine.
You've tested it?
It was tested last week. Professor Milton Waxman went back 40 years in time and returned. We cannot afford another test because our energy sources are limited.
Will Waxman accompany me?
Yes. He and one other. Well, Doctor, what is your answer?
All right. I'll do it. That afternoon, I was taken aboard the barge in the East River. I was left alone in the laboratory to wait for Waxman, a physicist who knew how to operate the chronosphere. Waxman, Oh, who is this?
His name is Joan. John, this is Dr. Charles Marooned.
I know the doctor.
I don't believe we've met.
In my business, I have to know a lot of people I've never met.
John is security.
I see.
He's going with us.
To see there's no mistake.
That's right, Doctor.
Very well. I don't suppose murderers can be choosy about their companions.
Before we go any further, here are some clothes that will be suitable to the time and place which is our destination. Please put them on, Doctor.
While you're changing, I'll give you some background on the subject. Born Ulm, Germany, 1879. German citizen, religion Jewish. Became a Swiss citizen after graduation from Zurich Polytechnical Institution. Later migrated to the United States after Adolf Hitler came to power, with a price set on his head by the Nazis. Nobel Prize for Physics, 1921. Copley Medal, 1925. Franklin, 1935. Personal habits.
Must we do this?
He's only doing his job. Go on, John.
Personal habits. Works in a bare room with only a pencil and paper. Enjoys sailing, smokes a pipe, never drinks, is a violinist of conservability.
All right, I'm ready.
Good. Now just strap yourself into the accelerator seat. Ready? Switch on. The sensation will be something akin to weightlessness, a disorientation and feeling of utter detachment. This will last until we have settled into a new orbital configuration. We will be able to monitor our time segment on the screen before us.
May I ask our objective?
Yes. The Polytechnicum at Zurich. Graduation ceremony in the year 1900.
So young.
He was already formulating the theory of relativity at this point, Doctor. We have no choice. It must be clean and thorough. Are you ready, gentlemen?
Yes.
Ready, Professor.
Hold on. We will begin to whirl until we reach speeds where K-meson penetration is possible. Now.
The sensation was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. I felt bodiless, weightless. My consciousness seemed to float free. I was dimly aware of Waxman at the monitoring controls, but otherwise I remember no sensation. Later he told me that it took exactly 1/2 hour to vector in on the right time and place. That was right after the whirling stopped.
Marooned, are you all right?
Yes, I think so.
John?
I'm all right.
Where are we?
According to the monitor, our barge is at a dockside on the lake of Zurich. The year should be 1900. The time is 2:00. We have exactly 1 hour to accomplish our mission. Open the hatchway, John. Well?
Fantastic. A different world.
We can't waste any time. The graduation ceremony's at 3. Now let's go.
Very well.
Just a moment, gentlemen. Here, take these.
What are they?
Guns. We'll need them.
We stepped ashore. It was strange to see the world green and happy again after our red radioactive ruins. Eventually, we located a policeman who spoke some English. He directed us to the auditorium of the Zurich Polytechnical Institute where the graduation ceremony was in progress.
Don't attract much attention. Take a seat in the rear. And now, it gives me great pleasure to present the diplomas of graduation to the members of the graduating class of the Zurich Polytechnic Institute. First, Mr. Hans Kindler, cum laude. Do you see him, John?
Not yet.
Next, Mr. Fritz. We will have to wait until they call him to the platform.
Cum laude.
Mr. Heinrich Weiss, valedictor. Are you ready? Marooned, you're the one who must do this. Are you ready?
What? Oh, yes. Yes, I am. I'm ready.
Mr. Albert Einstein.
That's him.
Marooned, shoot. Shoot. I can't do it. I can't.
Give me that gun.
Come on. We've got to get out of the car. Now, hurry. Another few minutes.
What do you suppose it will be like?
What?
Our world, the one we left. Without atomic fission, I mean.
We'll soon know.
Well, one thing is for sure. There'll be no mass destruction. The people will be there.
The people. Good Lord, there'll be billions of them.
And the trees, the green shrubs, and the beautiful tall buildings. He looked very young.
We're vectoring in on our year. Now hang on when I start the negative penetration. Brace yourselves. According to calculations, we should be back in the East River on the same day we left. The world will be as it would have been if Einstein had never existed. Open the hatch, John.
Look at that. The city. New York is whole again. No ruins. No rubble.
Those buildings are magnificent. Look at the trees in the parks. Marlin, we've done it. It was worth it. We've done it.
Yes. We've done it. Suddenly from nowhere, an official boat. A police boat. Suspicious of the barge and our parachronon penetration equipment, we were arrested by federal agents. The barge and our time machines confiscated. We were drugged, tortured, questioned interminably. It went on for what seemed like days and weeks. Finally, when they decided that they had every shred of information we possessed, we were taken before a huge, beetle-browed man who seemed to be a combination scientist and civil authority.
Sit him down. Well, Dr. Maron, we seem to have exhausted the possibilities. Tell me, is there anything you and your companions wish to tell me before you're disposed of?
Disposed of?
A euphemism for murdered.
Murdered? Why, what have we done?
You haven't done anything yet, but you have a thorough knowledge of nuclear physics, fission reaction, hydrogen bonds, etc.
Lord, you mean you have the knowledge we tried to keep from you? You got it from us ourselves?
Don't flatter yourself, Doctor. We've known the principles of nuclear reaction ever since Kretschwood.
Kretschwood?
The Brazilian scientist, discoverer of the equation E equals mc squared.
I see. Then, why are you going to destroy us?
Because, my friend, you're too dangerous. You know too much. Information could leak to our enemies. Important principles.
Enemies?
Oh, yes, I forgot. You have no knowledge of contemporary affairs. Beneath this building, deep in the earth, there is a thorium pile going.
Thorium? Oh, U-235?
Would be better, yes. Our scientists are working that out. The problem of separation and so on. It's a highly secret project, naturally. We call it only by the name Manhattan Project.
Manhattan? Oh, no, it couldn't be. It's too coincidental. Yet I see it's true. You're going through exactly the same steps. In a year, you'll have an atom bomb. Then soon after, a hydrogen bomb. Then intercontinental missiles, and then...
You seem to have great powers of prophecy, as well as great scientific knowledge.
My friend, did you ever hear of a man named Einstein? Albert Einstein?
Einstein? No. I never heard of him.
Then the futility of it struck me. The futility of trying to place the guilt of all of us on any one man. The futility of trying to do something worthwhile by evil means. And finally, the futility of trying to murder an idea. As they led me to the execution cell, where I now wait, the words of a man whose books were destroyed in the war rang in my brain. The fault, dear Brutus, lies not with our stars, but with ourselves.
Fred Collins again. I'll have another word about X-1 in just a moment.
Right how you feel, blue and miserable with a deep-down cold? Listen.
Every second someone takes it for the miseries of a cold. Millions more take bromoquinine. Every second someone takes it for the miseries of a cold. Bromoquinine.
More people have taken more bromoquinine cold tablets for more complete relief than any other cold tablet ever sold. You could use aspirin or cough syrups or nose drops all day and not get bromoquinine's relief. Bromoquinine works to relieve stopped-up nose, body aches, fever, irregularity, the blues, and headache, too. Yes, more complete relief for even virus colds. For bromoquinine is the only cold tablet sold with wonder-working quinine and 5 other medicines health-fortified with vitamin C. Remember,
every second someone takes it for the miseries of a cold. Millions more take bromoquinine.
Get bromoquinine brand cold tablets.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Kill Me with Kindness by Richard Wilson. What would you do if you found yourself in a place where your every whim was granted? Don't worry. You wouldn't be the first to spoil utopia by attempting to improve it. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Target 1, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Frederick Pohl and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in our cast were Joseph Bell as Dr. Marin, Frank Silvera as President Malkov, Dean Almquist as Professor Waxman, Al Collins as John, Guy Rep as the official, with Charles Webster. This is Fred Collins speaking. X-1 was directed by George Voutsas and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire.
From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X-1. Prime Difference. But first, hear this.
This is Bill Goodwin. You know, someone once said humor is the true democracy. And that's why we Americans can smile when we tell the stories of the legendary heroes who helped to build our country's great institutions and industries, like transcontinental transportation. Ever hear of Windwagon Smith? Well, in the early pioneering days, most of the traveling was done by ox team, and if folks covered 15 miles a day, they were doing good. That's about the time Windwagon Smith showed up with his prairie clipper. The clipper was a wagon without any animals to pull it, but with a sail sticking up from the middle of the wagon. When the wind caught the sail, the wagon took off. And that's where Windwagon Smith got his name. He figured he might be able to cover as much as 70 miles a day with the clipper, and folks began to figure it might be a good thing when Windwagon pointed out how fast the country was growing and how more transportation was needed to haul people and goods. Then he invited the United States Secretaries of War and the Navy to ride on the clipper's maiden voyage. But disaster struck. The clipper got out of control, the Secretary of War rolled out, and the Secretary of the Navy landed in a cactus patch. But Windwagon and the clipper kept going and never stopped. As transportation grew in America, people all over the country claimed to have seen Windwagon Smith. He was in the pilot house of the first steamboat to sail up the Yellowstone. He held the golden spike when the first transcontinental railroad was completed. And when the first transcontinental plane roared out of Kansas City, it was Windwagon Smith, the spirit of American transportation, who waved the pilot on his way. Yes, it is a democracy which lets us tell stories of such legendary heroes with a twinkle in our eyes and a chuckle in our throats. And so long as we continue to laugh together as a people, ladies and gentlemen, we will live together as a nation.
Now, X-1 and prime difference.
I suppose every guy reaches a point once in his lifetime where he gets 140% fed up with his wife. Understand, now, I've got nothing against marriage. Marriage is great. A good red-blooded American institution. Only it's so permanent. Especially when you're married to a woman like Marge. Ah, she was a dream to look at. Tawny hair and sulky gray eyes and a shape that could set your teeth chattering. But she had a tongue like a number 10 wood rasp and a list of grievances long enough to paper a ballroom.
Why do you always upset me in the morning when I've got a headache?
I'm not trying to upset
now,
you.
Now, you deliberately...
I'm trying to have my coffee so I can go down to the office and earn a living.
A living? Go ahead. Run away. That's all you've done all our married life. Whenever there's something unpleasant to be faced, you run away.
I'd even forgotten what the unpleasant something was.
Well, then I'll remind you. It's your own selfish, indulgent nature. Staying out till after midnight when I was here waiting and suffering.
I was working. I was at the office working.
I know you were at the office, dear. I phoned, remember?
Well, then what in blazes?
Only you weren't working. Your breath
was... Oh, listen. I fired Miss Carver. She was okay, but I fired her for you. It was her last day. We all had a couple of drinks, that's all. Maybe we just weren't meant for each other. I don't know. If we'd been living back in the blissful 50s, I might have divorced her. But this was 1974. And what with the Family Togetherness Act of 68 and the Aggrieved Spouse Compensation Act of 69, I'd have been an outcast and a pauper for the rest of my life. So you can't really blame me, can you, for looking for another way out, I mean? Oh, come. Oh, hi, Harry boy.
Say, George, I just dug your new secretary out in the waiting room.
Oh, is she here already?
Ooh, boy. I tell you, if I had a secretary like that, the first thing I'd do is go out and get myself an Ego Prime.
A what?
An Ego Prime, a duplicate of myself to send home to the wife evenings.
You know, that's strictly against the law, Harry.
So speeding, but everybody does it.
Well, anyway, I wouldn't think of it. It's indecent.
Well, that's just joking, Georgie boy, just joking. Still, it's fun to think about, huh? Freedom from wife. Absolutely safe and harmless. Not even too expensive if you had the right contacts.
Well, come in.
Mr. Faircloth?
Yes.
I'm Jerry Lamont. Your new secretary.
What did I tell you, Georgie boy?
Harry, if you don't mind, I'd like to get right down to work with Miss Lamont. Excuse us.
Why not? Don't forget what we were talking about, huh, Georgie? I happen to know a fellow with just the right contacts for that deal.
Yeah, sure. So long, Harry.
So long. Bye, Miss Lamont.
Bye.
Well, I'm glad to have you aboard, Miss Lamont.
Oh, Miss Lamont is so formal. Mr. Blickendorf called me Jerry when I worked for him.
Oh, Hank Blickendorf?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you must be the girl he, You must have accompanied him on his business trip to Rio.
Yes.
Well, he spoke very highly of you. I'm sure we'll get along just fine.
Well, I feel the same way. I prefer working for a younger man than Mr. Blickendorf, anyway.
When I came home to dinner that night, Marge was waiting with a full barrage. She let me get my first bite of dinner halfway to my mouth and then opened up.
Well, I hear you got a new secretary today.
Yeah.
I also hear she's 5'8" and tapes out at 38, 25, 36, and likes men.
That's quite a spy system you've got there.
She isn't much of a secretary either.
She's a perfectly good secretary.
Well, that isn't what Molly Blickendorf said.
I don't care what Molly Blickendorf said.
Now, where are you going?
I have to make a business call. I forgot.
Well, I suppose it would be too much to expect you to do your work at the office with that Miss...
Harry? George Faircloth. Listen, Harry, you know that conversation we had this afternoon? Could you put me in touch with your friend? Yes, as soon as possible. The following evening, I found myself at the door of a dingy office in an ancient warehouse up near 14th Street. A little rodent of a man answered.
Yes, brother?
I'm George Faircloth. Harry sent me.
Oh, yes. Step inside, brother.
I've been told that you can supply me with...
Yes, brother. It might be possible. We get quite a few busy executives who are in a hurry. Can't be bothered with licensing a utility prime.
Mister, if I wanted an ordinary utility prime, I wouldn't have hiked up here. I'd have picked up the phone and ordered it. I want a super deluxe ego prime with all the circuits open. In short, a carbon copy of me, George Faircloth.
Well, just step back here, brother. Fine. These domestic situations can be awkward. You understand, if the feds find out about this, you're in as much trouble as we are.
I'm more worried about my wife finding out.
Ease your mind, brother. We've never had one yet. Except for that little shut-off control in the hair behind the ear, these ego primes are identical with living humans. Now, if you'll just step back into the lab and take your clothes off, we'll start.
I spent a busy 2 hours under the NP microprobes. The artists worked outside, taking casts and impressions, while the technicians worked inside, feeding all my brain patterns into a Hunyadi pantograph. I came out of it pretty woozy, but a shot of happy-o fixed that. Then I waited in the recovery room until the salesman walked in, followed by a tall, sandy-haired man with tired blue eyes wearing a business suit, who looked remarkably like me.
Mr. Faircloth?
Yes?
Meet Mr. Faircloth, Prime.
So, this is me. Shake, George. Why, he even talks like me. I ought to. I've got a dozen Hunyadi tubes in my cranial vault with your speech patterns on them. I'll be doggone.
Nice job, eh?
Well, it's fantastic.
Now, the shut-off mechanism is behind his right ear. Now, bring him in every 2 months for the regular 2-month refill and pattern accommodation.
Let me get a few things straight. How do we change places?
George Prime has remote recall. You just signal him with this transmitter, and he'll come to you wherever you are.
Oh, good. Suppose I call you GP for George Prime. Okay with me, George. Right.
Now, there's the matter of the check.
Oh, yes, right here. Yeah, all made out.
Good. Well, thank you. And good luck.
Okay. Well, let's go, GP. I'd like you to meet the little woman. Half an hour later, George Prime put my pipe in his mouth and walked into the house. I stayed out in my workshop in the garage and listened. 5 minutes later, they were fighting. It sounded so familiar, I laughed out loud. Then I caught a cab and headed uptown toward Jerry's place. We had quite an evening, and I rolled in just as George Prime was starting the car, business suit and briefcase, ready for work. I slipped into the garage. Hey, hold it. Oh, you're back. How'd it go, huh? Whew. Boy, you didn't tell me you were married to a female Bengal tiger. Well, she didn't suspect it, she? Oh, of course not. Well, what'd you do? Well, fought till about 1 a.m., then went to our respective corners and sulked. You think you can handle it? Listen, she's really a sweet girl underneath. Now, I'll be so attentive and sweet, she'll soften up. You wait and see. Well, don't overdo it. She is my wife, you know. Naturally. Now, you're sure you understand the recall signal? Perfectly. When you buzz the recall, I wait for the first logical opportunity to join you, and then you take over. Right. Now, climb into the trunk here, and I'll shut you off and lock you in. Righto. Well, I'll see you tonight, old man. I'll see you tonight, George. I could go on at some length about my exploits, but I won't. In the end, it was like buying a 3-dimension TV set. After a week or two, the novelty starts to wear off. Well, I got it down to where Tuesday and Thursday nights I was informally out while formally in. The rest of the time, George Prime was in the box. Well, Marge didn't suspect a thing. In fact, George Prime was having a remarkable effect on her.
Oh, that you, George?
Yeah?
Hello. Oh, you look tired. Have a hard day?
Well, now that you mention it, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, why don't you sit down and relax? I fixed a martini before dinner.
That sounds like a splendid idea. Are you all right?
I'm fine. Why?
Nothing.
Well, what are you looking at?
Are you? You've done something to your hair or something.
You like it?
Yes. You know, I've always thought you were a darn beautiful woman.
Well, thank you, Mr. Faircloth. You know, you're not so bad yourself since you stopped scowling and snapping.
I guess that's a compliment, huh?
George, isn't it about time we stopped clawing each other?
It's what I've always wanted, Marge.
So have I. And, well, you've changed so much recently.
What changed?
But you know, you've been less irritable and more considerate and so much more vital. Oh, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm afraid I do.
George.
Yeah?
Look, let's have dinner and some wine and spend a nice evening together, like we used to when we were first married.
Why, sounds fine. Holy smokes. Hey, what time is it?
It's 7:30. Why?
Well, listen, I have to run down to the corner for some tobacco. I wouldn't want to spend a relaxing evening without tobacco, you know.
But there's some in your holder.
Well, I want something fresh. You chill the wine. I won't be a minute.
All right, dear, and hurry back.
I'd forgotten all about my date with Jerry. Actually, I didn't want to keep it. The idea of spending a quiet evening with Marge was really appealing for a change. But I had to run over and explain to Jerry, so I sent George Prime in to keep Marge company till I got back, which was about midnight. As I walked down the path, I looked in the window. George Prime was there, and he was kissing my wife the way I hadn't kissed her in years, and she wasn't exactly fighting him off either. I almost wore off my thumb on that recall button before he came out to the garage. Are you there, George? It's me, G.P. Well, it's about time. I'm sorry, old man. Sorry. Look, I saw what was going on in there. Well, you know, old bean, I am a super deluxe model. I should say you are. First thing tomorrow, big boy, I'm taking you in to have your circuits rewired. Look, aren't you being a little overly jealous? No, I mean for a man who wanted to get rid of his wife. I never said that. Well, I could never understand it personally. Listen. She's the one who's going to be suspicious if I don't get back there. Now, you give me that dressing gown and you get back in that box. Tomorrow morning, back to the factory. Marge was waiting for me in one of those flimsy things that I'd given her when we were first married. I must say she looked so charming and lovely that my heart just melted. And still I was overwhelmed with a sense of guilt, and I wanted to tell her what I'd done.
You finally got back. I thought you'd never get here.
Oh, my, you look ravishing.
That's the idea.
Marge, listen, I've got to tell you something, and before I do, I want you to know that in spite of the cad I've been, I do love you. I always have.
I know that. And you don't have to tell me anything.
Oh, this is important. And it'll shock you. In fact, you may never speak to me.
I know what you're going to tell me.
You mean?
About George Prime.
Great Scott, you knew.
Well, of course, George. Now, you don't think I could be fooled by something out of the lab, do you?
You've known all along?
All along.
Oh, Marge. Then tomorrow morning, we'll send that stuffed dummy back to the factory. And then we'll live the way we've always wanted.
Oh, yes, dearest. The way we've always wanted.
I just don't know where to begin.
Then why not begin by just kissing me?
I kissed her tenderly, and her lips were softer and more responsive than I've ever known them. Yes, she'd certainly changed. I turned out the lamp. I ran my fingers through her fragrant tawny hair. My thumb stopped at a little depression behind her ear. And then suddenly, I knew what had happened. It was a turn-off switch, of course. And I, George Faircloth, was now married to Marge Prime.
X-1 has brought you Prime Difference, written by Alan E. Norse and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in our cast were Lawson Zerbe as George and George Prime, Anne Loring as Marge, Evelyn Jester as Jerry, Merrill Joels as the salesman, and John Thomas as Harry. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by George Voutsas and is an NBC Radio Network production.
We pause now for station identification.
The corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street may seem like a strange place to meet one of the scientists from the magic island of Euclidia. But an even stranger place to meet a Euclidean is in your own home. That's apparently the situation which confronts Mrs. Gregory, her daughter Joan, and Jerry Hall. When Jerry and Joan started out to see a matinee at one of the moving picture houses, they met the Euclidean electrical wizard Thales, disguised as a beggar. Now they are locked in the radio room at Mrs. Gregory's home. And Mrs. Gregory has been talking over the phone with Captain Bradford at the harbor, where he went with Johnston to investigate the Euclidean submarine. A faint odor fills the room. The house is on fire. But Mrs. Gregory refuses to let Jerry or Joan leave the room.
Oh, I don't doubt what you say, Mrs. Gregory. If this room is fireproof, it's fireproof. But I don't understand why it's smart to stay locked up in here and let the rest of your home burn.
Jerry, Captain Bradford said we were not to leave this room until he or Johnson arrived to let us out.
But, Mother, your home is so beautiful. And though I have little understanding of the value of money in your world, it must be a very valuable home also.
It is valuable, Joan, and some of my art treasures are almost priceless. But there is no price as high as that of human life.
Well, gee, Mrs. Gregory, are you sure it's that serious?
I believe it might be just as serious if we attempted to open the door and leave this room.
This is indeed a strange
room.
Bradford to Gregory room.
It's Tex, calling from his car. Quiet while I answer him. Gregory radio room to Bradford. Go ahead, Tex.
Remain in that room. Do not leave until Johnson or I arrive to let you out.
We understand. No move is being made. Where are you, Tex?
Sorry, but for obvious reasons, I can't tell you that.
Are you in the car?
No, that is all.
Well, Tex is on his way here in the car.
But he said he wasn't.
Obviously to deceive someone, Jerry. It would not be very clever of the captain to admit that he might be caught on the streets with his car.
Yeah, that's right.
The only thing we have to worry about is how long it will take Tex to get here and just how great our danger is.
Well, I'd say it was plenty great. This is getting on my nerves. Guys running all over the place, starting fires, rooms we can't get out of, and radio messages from cars that aren't supposed to be on the streets.
The only thing we can do is to remain in this room and do exactly as Tex ordered, no matter what our danger. He knows more about it than we do.
But how could the captain have known of our danger while he is miles away at the harbor?
You mean while he was miles away? I'll bet he's burning up the road getting here.
Yes, he should be here any minute now.
Mother, why do you refuse to answer my question? How could the captain have known of our danger?
I'm sorry, Joan, dear, but that's just one of the things you'll have to trust me about.
There you are, Joan. Now, what did I tell you? Your mother and Captain Bradford are just as mysterious as any of those scientists of G-47s.
They seem to be. However, I shall not question their actions again. Mystery is not objectionable when it accomplishes a purpose.
Thank you, my dear.
Oh, all right then. Let's forget it. But I'm worried about that smoke. The smell is getting stronger all the time.
We might feel the wall and determine how near this room the fire is.
That would do very little, if any, good, Joan. Unless the heat were terrific, the soundproofing and fireproofing of these walls would resist rises in temperature.
Fine thing this is. Right in the middle of a fire and we can't even see it.
I think that is very fortunate. If we must be in the middle of a fire, it is best that we cannot see it or feel it.
Yeah, I know, but we're missing all the fun.
Well, it might not be very funny, Jerry, out in that hall with fire all around you.
Well, I didn't mean to be funny.
Jerry, why do you say so many things you do not mean?
Oh, I don't know.
Jerry has a habit of talking to keep up the spirits of the meeting. It's not a bad habit at all.
Mother, the green signal light.
Did you see one of them go on?
Yes, it flashed on and off very quickly.
Which one, Joan?
I did not turn my head quickly enough to locate the flash, but I'm sure I saw it.
Then we must all watch the board carefully.
Mm-hmm. There it is again.
Yes, on the extreme left end of the central row of light.
I saw it. That's the rear service door.
Isn't that the same door the fellow went out after he started the fire?
Yes. Why, Jerry?
Oh, well, he must be coming back to finish the job.
Perhaps the fire was purely local, designed to hold us in this room so that he might make a search of the rest of the house.
Nice going, Joan.
That is possible, but I doubt it. Oh, there's the next light. He's starting up the stairs, the service stairs.
Mother, is it not possible that this might be the captain?
Golly whiskers, Joan. You're right. It's Tex coming to get us out. Come on, let's open the door.
Jerry, don't open that door.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Gregory, but I thought maybe...
I know what you thought, Jerry, but you're wrong. That isn't Captain Bradford, nor is it Johnson.
Well, if he's planning to go into that study and steal something now, he must know that the fire can't get to him. And if it can't get to him, it can't be all over the house.
That's logical, Jerry, and under ordinary conditions, I'd say that we should try to find out what's going on. But when we're sure that the city contains one or more enemies, our best move is to make no move.
I believe Mother is right, Jerry.
Well, maybe she is. But that guy's getting closer to the study all the time. Now look at those green lights flash now.
Mother, was that not the large central alarm light, the one for the study?
Yes, Joan, it was.
Then the study's being worked on right now.
At least the door was tried and probably... No, look.
The next light. Down this way, isn't it?
Yes.
What room is that, Mother?
Just a large closet, nothing of value. Really just a space on this side of the study.
Any more rooms between us and the study?
No, only a rather long hall.
I think the person setting off those alarms is coming to this room.
I'll bet he is, too.
But the fire...
Well, if he started it, maybe he knows how to put it out.
Oh, it's not easy to put out fires that have been burning as long as this one has.
Is it possible to open this door from the outside?
Only with keys, which Johnson and Tex have.
Then we're safe as long as that door holds. Say, he's trying this door.
Well, sit still. He can't get in.
Now the light for this room has gone out.
Oh, boy. Well, he gave up easy. Maybe the smoke out there in the hall was too much for him.
If we watch the lights, we'll soon know where he's going.
Mother, the door.
Huh? Door?
The smoke is coming in around us.
He's getting the door open.
Steady in there.
Tex.
Captain Bradford.
It did sound like his voice.
Come on. Everything's all right.
It is, Tex.
Oh, I can only see smoke.
I'm inside the smoke. Come out in the hall and we'll get a window open here.
What happened, Tex? Where's the fire?
Right in that smoke pot on the floor. Here, give me a hand to raise this window, Jerry.
Aye, sir.
Now, we can all have a little fresh air.
Oh, Tex, what in the world has happened?
Well, several things. I'll go over them just as quickly as I can. But I think we'd better stay right here in this window. I want to watch for Johnson.
There is something strange about this smoke, Captain Bradford.
I was wondering which of you would notice it first.
No, I don't notice it yet. It's smoke, and it's just as smoky as any smoke I ever smelled.
But it does not injure your eyes, Jerry.
Huh?
No, it doesn't. And it doesn't hurt your throat.
Why?
Our Euclidean friends at work again. And that smoke is one of their little tricks. Probably designed to create fright and give the impression of a fire without causing any injury or discomfort.
Well, where would that get them?
Wasn't someone in here?
Of course. And we traced them to the study.
Right. And the plan was to work in the study without interruption, as this smoke drove you out of the house the quickest way, which meant this window.
But we were in a room that was practically airtight, and the smoke did not penetrate enough to disturb us.
Right again. And our friend got discouraged and left.
How would anyone be so sure which room we were in?
Well, for some time, you've been using the radio. And a person clever enough to have a diagram of this whole house and know the shortest route to the study would naturally know where the radio room was.
Why, yes. I should have thought of that.
These Euclideans work so fast they leave a lot of things around we should have thought of.
And are you certain, Captain Bradford, that a Euclidean was our visitor?
Positive. Thales was the man.
Well, that isn't very surprising. We've known for a long time that Thales was in Los Angeles.
But is he alone?
I think not, Joan.
Did other Euclideans come ashore from the submarine which pursued us here?
Not much doubt of it.
Did anyone see them?
Not leaving the submarine. Both these boats are gone. Back to Euclidia, I suppose.
That would be correct, Captain.
Then how do you know any more of those signs slanted?
I can't prove it. But here's what happened. Just after a Coast Guard flyer reported he'd seen two strange-looking submarines in the water, subs disappeared.
But they must have landed men before that.
Not so fast, Pat. I think they landed after that.
After the submarines disappeared?
Sure.
Jerry, have you forgotten how easily we landed from a submerged vessel?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Well, not long after the subs were reported, a smart newspaper reporter and a cameraman hired a water taxi and tore off out into the channel. They found four men feebly swimming around the water and calling for help. Naturally, they dragged them aboard and tried to question them. But the four rescued men suddenly came to life and tossed the surprised newsboys and the owner of the boat overboard. Then they headed for Long Beach, and that's the last seen of them.
What about the water taxi?
It was found abandoned at one of the landings.
Did the three men who were thrown in the water describe the four men who threw them overboard?
That's the sad part of it. Those boys were picked up a few minutes later, as the water was black with boats by that time. But all they could say about the four men from the sub was that their faces were covered with black, as if they'd been through a fire or explosion.
Gee, maybe the submarine blew up with them.
Jerry, I am ashamed of you.
Well, what's wrong with that? Boats have blown up.
Not Euclidean boats. But in this case, it was only a quickly adopted disguise.
That's exactly what it was.
Well, didn't they learn anything from the voices? I should think that peculiar high-pitched monotone of the Euclideans would have caught their attention.
The four men never spoke after those first faint cries for help. And a cry for help, even in a foreign language, sounds very much like any other cry for help.
Then you think we've got four more of those Euclideans on shore to worry about?
I'm sure of it, Jerry.
Have you a plan, Captain?
I've got several. We may have to try them all before we get away.
Get away? Tex, you're not going to run away from this, are you?
You bet I am, and I'm going to run straight to that island again.
But what can we do that we didn't do before?
We're working on that now. Johnson's rounding up a fleet of fast yachts and several other things, including a large amount of the chemicals necessary to compound my formula.
You're determined to go back and attempt to take over Euclidia?
Certainly. We haven't any choice, Pat. With at least 5 Euclideans in Los Angeles and probably more, we're just as safe on the high seas or on Euclidia as we are here.
Oh, boy. We're going back to the Magic Island.
Oh, no, Jerry. You're not going.
But, Mother...
I'm sorry, Joan, but I've explained that to you carefully. You and Jerry will remain here in school where you'll be safe.
Yeah, we'll be safe with a town full of Euclideans.
But, Jerry...
Looks like you're going to have to give in, Pat.
Tex, you don't mean
I think it's best to take the youngsters along.
Did you hear that, Joan?
We will be going back to Euclidia.
But, Tex, the danger...
The danger would be greater for Jerry and Joan if they stayed here without us. All those Euclideans would have to do would be to kidnap either one of them. And our plans would have to go overboard while we rushed back here and tried to rescue them.
Sure. The captain's right, Mrs. Gregory. And Joan and I can help you a lot, too.
To be sure we can, and we will.
Oh, I don't doubt that, but...
Now, Pat, you might as well forget it. None of us can make any plans to lead a normal life in this world until we break up that colony of G-47s. And the sooner we get started, the better. We're going back to Euclidia.
back to the island of Euclidia, the magic island of the South Pacific Ocean. That's the plan of the Gregory party, which had so many weird adventures there before. At one time, and not so long ago, our friends had but one thought, to escape from Euclidia. Now they're planning to return to the strange island, but this time they'll be much better prepared to guard themselves against the weapons of G-47 and his scientists. In the library of Mrs. Gregory's beautiful home in Los Angeles, Captain Bradford is explaining his preparations for the trip. The clock is striking 12, midnight, and Mrs. Gregory, Jerry, and Joan seem greatly excited as the captain outlines his ideas.
But the thing I want you all to understand is this. There's just as much danger in this trip as there was in the last one, possibly more.
That's the part that I can't understand, Tex. You admit we'll be going into certain danger, and yet you're willing to take Joan and Jerry into that danger with us.
The captain has explained all that, Mother.
Oh, sure he has, Mrs. Gregory. It'd be a lot more dangerous for Joan and I to stay here than it will be with you.
That's it, exactly.
You three seem to understand it perfectly. But somehow I can't quite admit that a trip to that strange island is as safe as anything else.
Do you not understand that there are at least 5 of the Euclideans here in Los Angeles?
I realize that.
And you know they're going to watch Joan and me pretty close.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Well, we'll do it together.
Now you're talking like your old self, Pat. This is the first time I've ever known you to hesitate where an adventure was concerned.
I am glad you're willing to have Jerry and me with you, Mother.
Boy, so am I. When do we start, Captain Bradford?
Within the next few minutes. Johnson is completing preparations at the harbor, and we will leave there when he telephones.
Boy, I'd like to be down there helping him right now.
There's a good reason why you're not doing that, Jerry. We've got to preserve as much secrecy about this thing as possible. So I doubt if we're making a move that the Euclideans don't know all about.
You may be very sure on that point, Captain. If you have made any move visible to eyes other than your own, some one of the Euclidean agents has observed it.
That's why I'm so worried about the outcome of this whole thing. Those scientists know everything we intend to do almost before we know it ourselves.
Well, that's what I say. Why not come right out and tell them what we're going to do? We're losing a lot of time trying to hide things from them, and if they can find them out anyway, why not save that much time and get going?
Well, these Euclideans are clever, but they haven't learned all the tricks. When we sail out of the harbor this time, we'll have a trick or two on board that G-47 won't know a thing about.
Are you quite confident that that is possible, Captain?
You bet I am, Joan.
But, Tex, you've had so little time to prepare anything, and they've spent their lives working miracles on that island.
Oh, it's not as bad as all that, Pat. They haven't worked any miracles on Euclidia either. G-47 and his scientists are merely a clever group of men who are devoting their lives and unlimited money to the study of science. There are hundreds of men in the world who could do the same things if they had the time and the money.
That is possible, Captain Bradford, and I have seen enough of your work to assure me that you could equal, if not surpass, the Euclideans in scientific work if you had given the same concentrated effort to it. But you have not, and it would seem to me that the advantage was with them now just as it was before.
Well, now look here, Joan. You haven't even given the captain a chance to tell us what surprises he's got ready for those men on the island.
And I'm afraid I can't tell you all about them just now. But when we're safely on the boat and out on the high seas, I'll explain the whole thing to all of you.
Why, Tex, you don't think we're being spied on here, do you?
Probably not.
Probably. I thought Mother's home was so well guarded that it was impossible for anyone to observe anything they were not supposed to see here.
I thought that once. Now I know better.
Oh, gee. What makes you say that, Captain?
Yes, Tex. You seem very sure that this home is no longer entirely safe.
Have you forgotten what happened to you three here this afternoon?
You mean that Euclidean sneaking in here and making us believe the house was on fire so he could have time to steal your valuable papers out of the study?
Well, not only that.
I felt that we were exaggerating our safety here.
But how, Tex? How?
You discovered our private phone line to the harbor was tapped, didn't you?
Yes, but it was surely tapped outside the house and probably outside the grounds.
Right, but it was tapped. Though it's hidden underground in a maze of cables that all look alike.
Well, what if they did tap the wire? They can't use that wire to listen in on us now, can they, in this library?
No, they can't do that. But they have been using our line for their communications. And what I've learned about their plans proves that they know all about ours.
You have proof of this, Captain?
Yes, and I'll show you in a minute. Jerry.
Yes, sir?
Will you turn the radio on?
Sure.
Throw that knob on this side over to the right, Jerry.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, that's right. Now open the top and start that turntable. The record I want you to hear is on there now. Now, if you'll all be quiet, you'll hear something interesting.
Are you ready for your instructions, S1?
I am ready.
Gee, that's your submarine commander.
And Saley's also.
Tex, where did you get that record?
I can see that we're not going to get anywhere this way. Better stop that record. I'll explain it, Jerry.
Okay, stop it is.
I am sorry that I spoke, Captain Bradford.
And I'm sorry also, Tex. But those voices upset me so that I didn't stop to think.
Well, who would stop to think when you play a phonograph in your own home and those crazy Euclideans start popping out at you?
Well, I'll explain that, but first, did you recognize those voices?
Why, we sure did.
Hold on a minute. One at a time. Now, you started, Joan.
There was no doubt as to the identity of the voices. The man was Thales, chief electrical expert on Euclidia, and the girl was the submarine commander who helped us to escape from the island.
What do you say, Pat?
Well, I'm not as familiar with those voices as Joan is, but I'd certainly agree with her.
Jerry?
Yeah, me too. That's who it was, all right. But how did they get there?
Well, I'll tell you. Now, when you were in the radio room this afternoon, Mrs. Gregory showed you the automatic recording device attached to our phone lines, didn't she?
Sure. We recorded what you said when we were locked in there and thought the house was on fire.
Then you'll understand where this record came from. I took it off the recording machine in the radio room about an hour ago.
Tex, Thales is using our private wire to send messages to that girl submarine commander at the harbor?
No doubt of it. They made sure the wire was clear. But when they didn't think that we might have a recorder on the line, they certainly slipped up.
Sure seems funny for those smart guys to miss an easy one like that.
I think it was not so easy, Jerry.
Huh? How come?
Had they suspected a recorder at all, it would have been logical to find it on the ordinary telephone line into your home. But why should they think you would want to record your own private conversations?
I think that's right, Joan. But at any rate, they did fall into the trap, and we know something of their plans. Or did you get that much on the record?
Not as much as I would have liked, but plenty to show us that some Euclidean knows every time we take a breath.
Well, let's play the record again, and everybody keep still all over.
Go to it, son.
I won't make a sound.
Nor will I.
Are you ready for your instructions, S1?
I am ready.
You will observe this to the letter.
I am waiting.
You will prepare to follow the Gregory boat. They will sail at midnight or shortly thereafter. Report on condition of your command.
My command is Patrol 1A, fuel for 10,000 miles.
You have received your instructions from G47.
My course to Euclidia is to depend entirely on actions of Gregory boat.
Correct.
Do you have additional instructions for my command?
I do, as follows. You are to make no move to hinder progress of Gregory boat. You will not allow them to see you. You will not communicate with them. Allow no other craft to contact them by means other than radio. You will take any steps necessary to enforce this. That is all.
Your orders will be executed. That is all.
Well, as she said, that's all.
Is that all there is on the record?
That's enough, isn't it?
Far too much.
Shut it off, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
And what do you think of that?
It's almost unbelievable, Tex. They even knew the hour we expected to sail.
And if we had not been delayed waiting for Johnson's call, we would have sailed at 12.
We'll be underway by 1 anyhow.
Then we'd better be on the way.
We're leaving at once. Your stuff all here, Jerry?
Oh, yes, sir. Right here with me.
Then come on, Pap. You and I'll check things over in the radio room for a minute. Better take that record along, Jerry.
Oh, yes, sir.
Do you wish me to come with you, Mother?
No, Joan, dear. You remain here with Jerry. And please, both of you, stay right in this room.
Yes, Mother.
Well, I'd better get this record like the captain said.
Jerry, I think I am afraid.
You're what?
I think I am afraid.
Oh, don't you know if you're afraid or not?
I am not at all sure that I know what fear is. We do not know fear on Euclidia. The sensation is strange to me.
Well, I've been scared often enough. I can tell you if that's what's the matter with you. How does it feel?
I feel as if there was something creeping up my back. Something small and very cold. The back of my neck has strange chills running through it.
Oh, boy. You're scared stiff. Well, I wish you hadn't told me about it quite so well. Now, I've got those creepy things running up and down my back.
I have never felt like this before. I do not like it.
Golly, nobody likes to be scared half to death. But what got into you all at once? You've taken me through plenty of places on that funny island where I got goose pimples all over me, and it didn't bother you a bit.
That is why this feeling is so strange to me, Jerry. I did not know fear on Euclidia. But now though I have been in this beautiful home of my mother's only a few hours, a change has come over me. I have learned something of comfort, of beauty, of the sort of happy, foolish fun young people in your world have. And with it, fear has come.
You felt safer on Euclides than you do in Hollywood?
Not that, Jerry. There was always danger on Euclidia, but I was part of it. Now I am not. Now your world is my world, and I realize how helpless your world is against such a man as G47 and his scientists.
Yeah, I know how you feel, but don't forget that we've got Captain Bradford, and that girl submarine commander's on our side, too.
I have told you before that you put too much faith in that girl, Jerry.
Well, she hasn't hurt us any yet. Gee, there's the telephone. That'll be Johnson calling from the harbor.
Should you not answer the telephone?
No. Your mother or the captain will get it upstairs. Where's your things?
My things?
Yeah, your suitcase. Your clothes.
I have nothing, Jerry. Mother and I were to have visited your stores tomorrow.
Oh, well, never mind, Joan. We'll see all the things I promised to show you when we come back next time.
Jerry, when will next time be?
Golly, Joan, I don't know.
No, Jerry. You do not know when we will return. Mother does not know. Captain Bradford does not know. Oh, Jerry, I am afraid.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Buck Rogers is on the air, brought to you by the makers of Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle, those delicious frozen confections on a stick. And now, a message from the famous winner of the Typical American Boy Contest, Popsicle Pete.
Hello, everybody. Guess what I've got here? A wristwatch for you. It's ticking away like anything. Gee, it's nifty. And it's yours, fellas and girls, free. All you do is save bags from Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle. You get hundreds of gifts, wonderful gifts, too, for those bags. Better start saving right away. Those bags are as good as money.
Yes, you'll find a valuable gift bag wrapped around every genuine Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle. Look for the name on each bag. It's registered by the U.S. Patent Office. And boy, will you love those great, big, swell-tasting frozen confections on a handy stick. Get one every day at your ice cream store. The biggest nickel's worth you ever saw. And wholesome. Couldn't be more pure if Mother made them.
And do they last? Say, don't forget to get a free gift list in your ice cream store. There's a free coupon on it worth 10 bags.
Well, now, tonight we should find out how and where Cain and Ardela, with Black Barney as their prisoner, are going to make their headquarters. But first, we'd better check up on Buck. And the easiest way to do that is by dropping into Central Radio Bureau at Niagara, the capital of 25th century America. All set? Then here we go, 500 years into the future.
Central Radio Bureau, Davidson speaking.
This is Buck Rogers, Dave.
Oh, yes, Captain Rogers. What can I do for you, sir?
Have you any idea where Dr. Hewer is, Dave? And why I haven't been able to call him at his laboratory?
Why, yes, sir. Right now, he's almost 80 floors below me in the protoniformer room of our transmitting setup.
What under the sun is he doing there?
Oh, he's looking through old pieces of equipment in the hope of finding some bits of impenetrite.
Impenetrite?
Well, that's what he said before he went down there.
Oh, probably with the idea of making up another gyrocosmic relativator.
Yeah, what?
A new invention. Has to have impenetrite for it.
Oh.
Any way of reaching him down there? Can you give me a line to him?
Well, he must have disconnected it so as not to be disturbed. I tried to call him just a few minutes ago and couldn't even raise an echo.
Dave, I wish you'd pass something on to him just as soon as you can get in touch with him.
Well, surely, Captain. I'd be glad to.
Well, tell him that Wilma and I have taken off in a battle cruiser and are trying to get on the rocket trail of the ship Black Barney's in.
Something happened to Barney, Captain?
Yes, Dave, I'm afraid so. That's why it's so important you get this message straight to Dr. Hewer.
Well, then listen.
Yeah?
Why not let me hook a telemagnetic recorder strip in on this receiver? You know, simply record your message to him. Then when Burke comes on duty to relieve me, I'll take it down to her.
Good idea, Dave.
It'll certainly be more clear to the doctor than any message I might try to relay to him verbally.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Captain. Go right ahead with your message.
Do I have to address this to him some way?
No, just carry on a regular conversation with me.
Okay. Well, we took off right next to the spot where Barney and Willie left in the ship equipped with a gyrocosmic relativator. Is that okay, Dave?
Yeah, whatever that relativator is.
Well, we flew straight up because we figured that would be the way he did.
Yeah?
Then we started slowly circling around.
Uh-huh.
But the gas analyzer doesn't show a sign of his rocket trail yet. If we don't find it within a few minutes, we'll have to start at the ground again.
Oh, excuse me, Captain.
Yeah?
I take it that gyrocosmic thing you mentioned is something new on a rocket plane.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. Makes a full-power takeoff possible.
Well, then perhaps Barney cut his power after taking off just to see if this new device was working right.
Yeah, that's possible.
He must have taken almost any direction when he put on the power again.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out by circling around. In any event, when we do locate his trail and direction, we'll report again.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're lucky, we may even pick up some information about Kane and Ardela.
Huh?
The more I think of it, the more I'm willing to bet there's a connection between them and Barney's disappearance.
Well, if that's true, your job amounts to nothing more or less than running down Kane and Ardela.
Right. Now, that's certainly enough of a message for Dr. Hewer, Dave, so get it to him fast.
Yes, sir.
Thought you were going to use the gyrocosmic relativator and coast down to a landing, Kane.
Don't worry. This one little burst of power isn't going to leave enough of a trail to be followed. Now then.
Good work. We're landed all right, and without even the tiniest bump.
Yes. This relativator Barney brought us makes taking off and landing so easy a baby could do it. Even Barney here.
You listen here now to me, Kane.
Well, Barney?
You know good and well I didn't bring that there now gyro thing to you. You stole it. That's what.
Why, Barney?
Sure. Me and Willie was trying it out for Lieutenant Wilmer and Captain Rogers and Dr. Ewer. And the only reason you got it is on account of you stowed away in this here rocket ship.
Now, Barney.
Sure you did. And I want to know that you done what you done with my little Willie, too, huh? What did you?
Barney, your dear little Willie is acting as messenger boy for me. He's taking a note to Buck Rogers.
Didn't you see him take off for Niagara in the rocket roadster, Barney? Sure you did.
Sure I did. Only he can't fly one of them things, and if anything happens to him, Killer Kane, I'll get you for it if it's the last thing I ever do. You hear me, Kane? And I mean it.
Barney, you sound positively dangerous. I guess we'll have to do something about you.
What do you mean, do something?
Would you really like to know, Barney?
Sure, I'd like to know.
Very well. We're going to put you under the psychic restriction ray.
Huh?
It has a most startling effect on rebellious people.
No. Listen, Kate, listen. Did I ever do anything to you to make you put me under the psychic description ray?
Will you work with Ardela and me voluntarily?
Well,
How about it, Barney?
No, sir. I won't do it.
And that settles it.
Well, now listen.
First, of course, we've got to get established in some sort of headquarters.
Now, Kane, about that cycle...
Kane, are you still set on putting our headquarters here? So close to where Willie left us?
Listen.
If you'd use that pretty head of yours for something beside a perch for a flying helmet, you'd realize there isn't a better place in the solar system.
All right. Why?
No rocket trail leading up to where we've landed here. Now, is there?
No, because you cut the power a couple of miles away and coasted down. But you still haven't answered my question.
Ardela, think. Try it. Just once.
All right, rave on.
When little Willie delivers my message, the first thing Rogers is going to do is ask him where he saw us.
And believe me, Willie isn't going to waste any time in telling him, down to the last detail.
Right. But do you think for a minute Rogers will expect to find us here, waiting for him to come and get us?
Well...
Ardela, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
Just as far from where Willie was with us as possible.
Exactly. That's exactly what Rogers would expect us to do. And that's why we're safer here than anywhere else we could possibly be. It's the last place in the world he'd expect to find us.
Okay, you win.
Yeah.
And that just shows that you're pretty dumb, Kate.
Hey?
If you think you can keep Captain Rogers from finding you, you're dumb, that's all.
Quiet, Bonnie.
Buck might think to look for us here at that, Kane.
What makes you think so?
Professor Smith, the mad scientist who had ideas for becoming supreme grand ruler of the solar system. You know, the man who invented the psychic restriction ray.
Well, what about him?
Well, this is where he hung out.
Don't let that worry you. By the time we get through fixing this place up, Smith himself wouldn't be able to spot us.
What do you mean by fixing it up?
Come on, let's get out of this rocket ship and I'll show you. Oh, by the way...
Yeah?
What sort of equipment were you able to pick up when you dropped into Dr. Hewer's laboratory? Is this it here, in this bag?
Yeah, a rocket pistol, small disintegrator, and 2 force rays.
Good work. Now, as for tools, there are plenty right here in the ship. So bring along those weapons. And Barney.
Yeah? What?
You may have the honor of bringing along the psychic restriction ray.
I don't want no psychic description ray.
Bring it along. But wait. What's this lever for? Here on the control panel.
I don't know, Kane.
Barney?
Sure, anybody'd know that. It's a rocket dampener for working the attachment on the rocket tube so it'll cut down on the rocket flame so that
Splendid. It'll not only cut down whatever noise this ship makes while in flight, but it'll change the rocket trail. There we are. Now, come on.
Okay. Help me step down to the ground, please, Barney. I've got my hands full.
Oh, sure, Miss Taylor. I'll be...
Never mind that, Barney.
Huh?
You take care of that ray machine. And don't drop it. You understand? Handle it carefully.
Okay.
Go ahead, Adela.
Isn't that what I'm doing?
And these tools are just what we need. I'll put them right out of here.
I'm not going to leave the ship out in plain sight, I hope.
Huh?
You heard me.
Adela, you do have an idea now and then, don't you? Let me have that small disintegrator.
Here. Now, what are you going to do with it?
Watch. First, I disintegrate a large hole right alongside the ship.
That's a mighty big hole you disintegrated.
There we are.
All right. Now what?
Wait and see.
Hey, he ain't going to fly away and leave us, is he?
We'd better not try it. I see.
Yeah. He's navigating it right into the hole he made with the disintegrator, ain't he?
And believe it or not, there's room to spare. Nice work, Kane. But it's still in plain sight.
Now, where's that one-way energy projector? Oh, here, you have it, Adela.
Yeah.
Don't think you can cover up that whole complete rocket ship with one of them things. Do you?
Watch.
Wait.
Huh?
If you cover it up, how'll we get it out again?
Push the dirt away with one of these force rays.
Oh.
Now, watch. Well, satisfied?
A little more dirt needs to be pushed over it on this side here, Kane.
There you are. The ground looks as though it had never been disturbed.
I had no idea one of those little things, force rays, packed so much power.
So did I.
Non-recoil energy, Adela. Just another of your many inventions that'll be of help to us.
Well, now what?
Now, we're going to establish our headquarters underground.
Where Smitty used to have his?
Yes, come on. And let Buck Rogers or anybody else try to find us once we get established in this.
Central Radio Bureau, Davidson.
Listen, Dave. This is Buck Rogers again.
Oh, yes, sir. Any news about Black Barney or Killer Kane in Ardela, Captain?
Plenty.
No kidding.
But how about my message to Dr. Hewer? Did you get it to him?
Yes, sir. He's on his way back to his laboratory.
Well, then maybe I'd better call him direct.
Oh, I'm afraid you won't be able to get him right away, Captain.
Huh? Why not?
Well, he said he was going to make several stops along the way. The municipal storehouse and the electrochemical laboratories and the ultronium foundry. Oh, a couple of other places, too.
Well, then take another message for me. And relay it to him as soon as you can get in touch with him.
On the telemagnetic recorder?
Won't need it. This message is plenty short.
All right, shoot.
Tell Dr. Hewer that Wilma and I have picked up Barney's rocket trail with a gas analyzer, and we're following it at top speed.
Good work, Captain.
And we're not stopping until we find him.
Good stuff. But wait a minute. Didn't Kane deliberately break up his rocket trail so it couldn't be followed? Well...
Fellas and girls, hurry up and send in bags from Popsicle, Fudgicle, and Creamsicle, and get yourself swell gifts. All the things you want but haven't got money to buy, like a wristwatch, movie camera, doll, jewelry, wallet, table tennis, fishing tackle, hundreds of wonderful gifts. Just save up creamsicle, fudgicle, and popsicle bags. Excuse me now, folks. I'm going out to have a popsicle.
And will you get one for me, Pete?
Sure, Mr. Johnstone.
Yes, sir. There's nothing that tastes better than a great big cold popsicle. Those juicy fresh fruit ices frozen on a stick. Have one tonight. Get your favorite fruit flavor. They're refreshing, full of energy, and only 5 cents for a great big twin popsicle. And boy, does it last.
Presenting the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon and Dale Arden. These thrilling adventures come to you as they are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Comic Weekly, now printed in 32 tabloid-sized pages, each page in full 4 colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Last week, you may remember, Flash Gordon and Dale Arden saved the Earth from destruction by shooting a rocket at a planet which threatened to collide with it. They became marooned on the planet called Mongol. The Emperor, Ming the Merciless, ordered Flash killed and commanded Dale to marry him. The royal princess, loving Flash, saved him. Soon, Prince of the Lion Men helped Flash prevent Ming from marrying Dale by breaking up the marriage ceremony and escaping underground. Now we continue the story. Flash and Dale are captured by the Sharkmen. Princess Aura appears and again saves Flash, who in turn tries to free Dale. But Thune's father, searching for his princely son, captures the princess and Flash. Rather than remain a captive, the proud Aura hurls herself over the cliff, only to be caught by the terrible leaves of a constrictor plant. Flash hastens to her aid.
Don't struggle, Princess Aura. I'll free you.
Hurry. The leaves are crushing me.
I'll cut them with my sword.
Oh, be careful. Oh, careful, Flash. The plant may catch you.
This devilish plant.
Oh, Flash, it caught you too.
Yes, I didn't think it could. This is a tough break.
What shall we do now?
I don't know yet.
Oh, Flash.
What is it, Princess? Are you in pain?
No. Look down there. A door in the cliff has opened.
Yes, so it has. There are soldiers coming out. Strange-looking guns. Those your father's men?
No, I never saw them before. They must have seen us coming to make us captives.
Well, at least they'll get us out of the clutches of this terrible plant.
Soldiers, shoot your ray gun at that plant and kill it. But don't injure its victims. I want them brought to me alive.
Don't be afraid, Princess. Those men will catch you.
Be ready to catch our men. Now, the other one.
Here I come.
We're safe on the ground. But what will happen now?
John's the leader of those soldiers.
Soldiers, you did that well. Ah, Princess Aura.
Yes. How do you know me? I do not know you.
I know your father.
Oh,
what's this? Another white stranger?
Yes, Prince Baron.
Blindfold him and prepare our other white prisoner for the ordeal of the poisoned daggers.
As you command, Prince Baron.
What are you going to do with me?
Guard, take the princess to my quarters.
As you command, Prince Baron.
Ah, here comes our other white prisoner. Perhaps you know him, youth.
How can I tell? He's got a hood over his head. I can't see his face.
He says he is from the Earth. I suppose you are from there, too?
I am.
I don't believe you. But no matter. Our hiding place must remain a secret, so both of you must die. Are the white prisoners prepared, guard?
They are, Prince Baron.
Their left forearms are tied together.
And the poisoned daggers, are they ready?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now listen, prisoners. I am dipping these 2 daggers in dragon's blood. The slightest scratch from these blades means certain death. Guard, give these to the prisoners. On the count of 3, you will commence fighting. 1, 2, 3.
As Prince Baron utters the word, Flash steps back, jerking his mysterious antagonist off balance. He flings aside his dagger. Then he causes his opponent to drop his poisoned weapon. Picking up the dagger, Flash severs the cord binding him to his opponent, and as the two whip off their blindfolds and reveal themselves to each other...
Flash Gordon, Dr. Zarkov.
So you do know each other?
I should say we do. I'm mighty glad to see you, Doctor. I thought you were dead after our rocket crashed on this planet.
I was badly hurt, Flash. These fellows, they picked me up and brought me here. They made me act as their servant. Well, we saved the Earth, didn't we, lad?
We certainly did, Doctor. Now, Prince Baron, maybe you will believe that we are from the Earth. This man was the most brilliant scientist in the world. He was
Stop. My admiration for both of you is boundless. I would be honored to have you shake my hand and call me friend.
Your friend?
Yes.
Why, of course. Here's my hand.
And mine.
Good. Now come to my quarters. My friends, I have invented an electric mole with which I intend to burrow underground into the palace of Ming the Merciless and overthrow his tyrannical government. Are you with me?
Certainly.
You bet we are. We've got to rescue Dale and Thune from that fiend.
Princess Aura, you heard what I plan to do?
Yes. Please take me back to my father's palace with you.
You? Why, it's because of you that I am a hunted man with a price on my head. You will remain here as my prisoner. Come, my friends, come.
Oh, I will I? Start.
What is it?
What is your name?
Ronkel, my princess.
Ronkel. I thought I recognized your face. You fled into exile from my father's guard when you were caught stealing.
Yes.
Listen, Ronkel.
Princess.
If you will help me warn my father of what those men plan to do, I will make you not only wealthy, but also a duke.
For one so lovely, my princess, how could I refuse? Come with me.
Unaware of what has happened in the hiding place and racing underground toward the palace of Ming the Merciless in their electric mole, Prince Baron, Dr. Zarkov, and Flash Gordon encounter a fierce Grocco, or armor-plated dragon. Flash climbs out of the mole and gives battle, saving his companions. For this, Prince Baron promises that if they succeed in overthrowing Ming, Flash will be made a Prince of Mongo, and anything he desires will be his. Finally, the electric mole breaks through the floor of the central hall of Ming's palace. The door opens and the trio emerge from the metal burrowing machine.
Come, my friends. We have arrived.
Ah, so we have. What is our next move, Prince Baron?
This is the central hall of Ming's palace. We go up those stairs, Dr. Zarkov, and surprise the inner guard.
Prince Baron, look.
Ming's armored men.
We've been betrayed.
Yes.
But how could the news have reached here before us?
Let us get our raid on.
It's no use, Doctor. The armor of those soldiers is ray-proof.
Here comes Ming the Merciless with his high priest.
Dale, thank heavens he's all right.
Welcome back to my palace, Flash Gordon, and welcome to your companions. Soldiers, lash them to the pillar over there, then execute them.
Oh, Flash, darling, I love you so much.
Dale, my dearest, we did our best to save you, but we've been betrayed. I guess they have us now.
Let them shoot. They'll kill me, too, and we'll be together forever.
Very well, Dale Arden. You can have him in death. Captain, proceed with the execution.
Shoot, you yellow dogs. We aren't afraid to die.
Ready? Aim. Stop. Hold your fire.
Froggy, what does it mean? If you were not the high priestess, I would have your tongue torn out for your insolence.
I ask you, remember, sire, that according to the sacred writ of Tao, even a traitor has the right to choose between the fiery squad and the terrible test.
True, Zugi. And on second thought, the test would furnish us with greater amusement.
Yes, sire. We must abide by the sacred writ. And then, too, I see no reason why the girl should be killed.
Captain, release the prisoner. They shall undergo the terrible test. First, bring them over to the pit.
Come along.
This is the test of the torture pit. Flash Gordon, you and Baron will stand on each end of the narrow platform and with long whips try to topple each other into the pit, where the supplies will be awaiting you. Take your places.
The two mount the platform. Flash ducks as Prince Baron's whip winds over his head, and Flash's whip hits Baron with such force as to knock him off balance and into the pit. Dropping his whip, Flash leaps after him. As he throws the unconscious form of Prince Baron over his shoulder and prepares to climb out, a transparent metal sheet silently slides over the top of the pit, trapping them. At the same time, Flash hears a growl, and looking around, he sees three snarling tigrants. Placing Prince Baron on the floor, Flash turns on the fierce beast. The first one charges. Leaping high in the air, Flash comes down on the tigrant's back with a powerful wrench, breaks its neck. Instantly, the other two tigrants leap at each other to fight for the possession of the body. Furiously, the battle rages. Finally, both animals are down, wounded unto death. Then Prince Baron regains consciousness.
Where are we?
You're all right, Prince Baron.
Yes.
We're in the pit. But they trapped us with that transparent metal lid.
And you saved us from these beasts. Oh, you are superb, Flash.
That was easier than figuring how we're going to get out of here. Look up there. Prince Soon. Yes, he's just in time. Soon! Roll that metal lid back. He nods that he understands.
There. He's done it.
We're free. Come along.
Meanwhile, in the temple of Tao, Ming and Dale are about to be married by Zogi, the high priest.
By now, Dale Arden, my saber-toothed tigrants have torn your hero to pieces.
Oh, poor Flash. He died trying to save me. Nothing matters now.
Here comes Zogi to perform the ceremony.
Oh, mighty Ming, ruler of Mongo and the universe, does your supreme intelligence take this Earth woman to be your wife and empress of Mongo?
I most certainly do.
And you, Dale Arden, do you take this just and brilliant man to be your lord and master?
I don't care what happens now.
As you have accepted each other in matrimony before the great god Tao, I pronounce you...
Wait, stop.
I will speak.
I, Tao, forbid this marriage.
It is a trick. Fools! A stone idol cannot talk. Zogi, swing back the statue.
At once, sire.
Flash Gordon.
Yes, darling. They told me you were dead.
The Earthman and two companions alive.
Go, God. Shoot them down. The marriage must go on.
Wait. Sire, the sacred writ say you cannot execute a man who has passed the test of the Tigrans. Guards, drop your weapons or Tao will curse you all.
What? You dare defy me?
I only quote the sacred writ, sire. As high priest, it is my duty to interpret and enforce its dictates.
Guards, give me your sword. Zogi, I will stop your jabbering mouth forever.
Oh, how awful. He's killed the high priest.
Carry the body away, guards.
Flash, my darling. I thought I'd lost you.
Never as long as I have strength in these two arms and the breath of life in my body.
So Tao forbids me to slay you, eh? Well, Tao and I will both laugh while you rattle slaves in the prison city of the Hawkmen.
Death would be more desirable.
As for you, Dale Arden, you shall be taught to act like my empress.
Doomed to a fate worse than death among the cruel Hawkmen. What terrifying adventures await our friends? Be sure to listen in again next week and hear the further amazing adventures of Flash Gordon and Dale Arden, who appear in full-color pictures next Sunday in the 32-page Comic Weekly supplement of your Hearst Sunday newspaper, the world's greatest all-picture magazine of fun and adventure. Don't miss the Comic Weekly next Sunday. All your friends will be there. Besides Flash Gordon and Dale Arden, you'll find King of the Royal Mounted waiting to thrill you with another chapter in his adventures of the Great Northwest. Good old Jiggs and Maggie in Bringing Up Father. Your old pal Skippy, Tilly the Toiler, Ace Drummond, Johnny Round the World, the Little King, Radio Patrol, they'll all be waiting to entertain you. Of course, those irresponsible Katzenjammer kids are on deck with a new prank on their friends. How can they think of all those tricks? And as for Barney Google, well, I'm afraid I'll have to agree with Snuffy Smith that Google seems a bit catched in the hay. Remember, they're all in the Comic Weekly next Sunday. 32 pages of colored pictures. Be sure to get your copy of the Hearst Sunday newspaper next Sunday, containing this big 32-page Comic Weekly. And remember, we have a date next week for another chapter in the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon and Dale Arden.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman. And today, with the Man of Steel robbed of all consciousness by the glowing fragment of the planet Krypton, the little Cockney Sniggers is planning a startling surprise for the Scarlet Widow. The one thing in the world which Superman fears, a piece of green glowing kryptonite from the shattered planet on which he was born, and which has the power to rob him of all his great strength, has been stolen from its vault in the Metropolis Museum. Superman followed the thief, a little Cockney named Sniggers. But when he seized him on a nearby street, Sniggers dropped the lead box containing the kryptonite. The box sprang open, and the strange rays emanating from within overpowered the Man of Steel. Delighted with his good fortune, Sniggers seized the limp, unconscious Superman by the collar. And as we continue now, he is dragging him through a dark street, intent on finding a taxicab and taking Superman and the kryptonite to his employer, the dangerous woman known as the Scarlet Widow. Listen.
Lord blimey, this here Superman is heavy, he is. If I could only get him to the corner and find a hack, I'll tell the driver my friend in the fancy costume took a nip too many at a masquerade party, he did. Well, we'll be glad to see him, eh? Him and the green shining stuff in this here box. Sniggers, she'll say, there's £100 for you. £100, nothing. This night's work is worth £1,000, it is. Here, now, who's coming? It's a blooming policeman. Curse the luck, I can't let him find me here. He know what happened at the museum tonight. He might even be looking for me now. I'll have to leave Superman here and up it through this alley. The widow'll have to be satisfied with this here box she sent me for. Toodaloo, Mr. Superman. I'll be seeing you again, I will.
Leaving Superman sprawled across the dark sidewalk, the little Cockney darts into an alley, the box of kryptonite clutched tightly under his arm, as a blue-coated policeman patrolling his beat spies the inert Man of Steel and quickens his steps.
Hey, what's this? Sorry, me. And would you look at the outlandish clothes on him? He's breathing. There don't seem to be nothing wrong with him. Drunk he must be from some fancy ball or masquerade party. Come on now, wake up. Wake up, I say. But you won't. Well, then my club to the soles of your feet will make you. Oh, you're coming too, are you?
Oh, what? Where?
What is where, indeed? Do you think this sidewalk is a feather bed?
Huh? Sidewalk. Why? Where am I?
Are you asking me now?
Oh.
George is a fine thing, a young gentleman like yourself getting drunk and passing out in the street.
What? I'm not drunk. Oh, wait a minute, I remember. Oh, I'm still dizzy.
Here now, don't be falling down again.
No, I'm all right. Officer, where did the
the little man go?
Oh, a little man, is he?
Yes. He speaks with a Cockney accent. Where is he?
Sure, he must have flown away with the pink elephants and the purple cow.
Oh, I'm serious.
Now, listen to me, lad.
I tell you, a little Englishman was here. He had a lead box with the piece of kryptonite. He stole it from the Metropolis Museum. We've got to find him, officer, and get it back.
Now, you listen to me, young fella, and take yourself off to bed.
No,
I don't want to have to run you in.
Good heavens, how can I make you understand? I still feel weak. I don't know if I can get off the ground.
Off the ground, he says. I've heard enough. And patient as a saint I've been. I'm giving you fair warning, me lad.
Now, look.
If you're not gone from here before I reach the patrol box, I'll be calling the wagon for you, and you'll sleep the night in the cell.
Now, wait a minute.
I'll be gone.
But, officer...
On your way. To the shame of yourself you can be.
Oh, you won't believe me. Got to go after that kryptonite myself. I've got to find that little thief. I must. Now, the museum is behind me. I know he didn't go that way, so I look in this direction. Up! And away!
Leaping into a starry sky, Superman streaks above the quiet, night-filled streets, searching desperately for Sniggers. Almost the length of Metropolis he ranges. And then back, and then from west to east and back again. Calling on his powerful muscles for speed and yet more speed. But the little Cockney and the kryptonite have disappeared. Then, finally, as the first crimson fingers of dawn pluck at the gray curtain of the horizon, the Man of Steel admits defeat, and his heart, filled with a fear such as he has never known before, turns toward police headquarters to seek aid. Meanwhile, in a magnificent, ornately furnished penthouse apartment atop one of the city's most exclusive residence buildings, the ominous thing which Superman fears is swiftly taking shape. On a white velvet sofa sits a tall, gaunt, ugly woman clothed in a flaming scarlet gown. Her hands, long and withered, the nails gleaming scarlet, stroke two black tailless cats which crouch on either side of her, their eyes fixed on a square leaden box which rests on a graceful pedestal of marble. The woman's small, piercing black eyes are fixed hungrily, gloatingly on the same box. And now she, the Scarlet Widow, known as the most dangerous woman in the world, speaks to Sniggers, the Cockney, who stands at the pedestal, an eager look on his sly, ferret-like face.
Take the kryptonite from its box, Sniggers. I wish to see it and hear it.
Lord blimey, Widow. How many times have you got to see it? It ain't changed now.
I love to see it. More than that, I love to hear the sound it makes. The sound of power.
Well, I don't. But everyone to his own taste, I says.
Take it from its box. Set it on the pedestal.
Well, I'll get me gloves on. This stuff burns, it does. No, I don't understand you, Widow.
You'll understand when the money blows in.
Oh, it will, eh? I suppose it'll blow in that there window, will it? What I wants to know
is... See how beautifully it glows. Hear the lovely sound it makes. Like beautiful music.
Music? Ain't like no music I ever heard. Now, look here, Widow. I risked me life for this blooming stuff tonight, I did. What I wants to know is, what's it worth?
Enough for both of us, Sniggers.
How? Where's it going to come from?
From that piece of kryptonite.
But how? How? The stuff ain't more valuable than gold, is it?
Much more valuable than gold, Sniggers. Because of what it can do to Superman.
On account of it can knock him out?
Exactly. Put the kryptonite back in its box now. It's disturbing my pets. There.
I don't get it. I don't understand why the stuff's better than gold on account of it can put Superman to sleep.
Perhaps it can put him to sleep forever.
So what? What I want to know is, how's it going to put English pounds into my pocket?
You're a fool, Sniggers. Don't you know that some of the most brilliant and powerful criminals in the world saw their great plans ruined, went to jail, all because of Superman?
Oh, sure, I knows that. Blokes like the Teufel and the Vulture and Papa Rausch and the one they calls the Laugher. I read about him in a magazine.
Exactly. Think what it would mean to such men if Superman were put out of the way forever.
No, I don't see how it would mean much to him. They're in jail.
You'll see very shortly, Sniggers.
When?
This very morning. Perhaps at any moment. We'll have some visitors. They'll restore the Scarlet Widow to her former glory. They will bring money.
Money, eh?
A great deal of money. The days of scrimping and petty schemes to steal a few thousand are over. I'll be able to have everything again. Everything. And their money and my brains and influence will give me power such as even I have never had before.
That listens good to me, widow. Who's the visitors we're expecting?
They should be here very soon now.
Someone's at the door.
Don't be alarmed, Sniggers.
It might be the bobbies.
We would have been warned if it were the police. Come.
Come where?
To admit our visitors, of course.
Oh.
They're the ones I told you about. They're very impatient, but not as impatient as I. Come, Sniggers, and prepare yourself for a big surprise.
Her gaunt, bony face lit with eagerness, the Scarlet Widow hurries to the door, followed by Sniggers. Who are her mysterious visitors? We'll return in a moment to learn more about them. But first...
Say, gang, suppose you're out on a hike sometime, and you want to know about what time it is, whether you ought to be starting back or not. Well, you can tell the hour of the day by the sun if you've got a modern sundial wristwatch, the kind Kellogg's Pep is putting out. Sure, you just lift the pointer on that shiny aluminum dial and aim it due north. Then see where the sun's rays make the shadow of the pointer fall on the dial, and that's the hour of the day. Mighty handy, isn't it? Mighty smart looking, too. Now, here's the easy way you can get your sundial wristwatch. Ask Mother to get a couple of packages of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Tear off the 2 box tops, be sure you get the ones marked top, and send them in along with 10 cents in cash and your name and address clearly printed to Superman, Box 157, Battle Creek, Michigan. And remember, this offer will be on for only a short time, so better hop to it. Have Mom get you some Pep today so that you can send for your modern sundial wristwatch. Remember the name, it's P-E-P, Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. In her ornately furnished penthouse apartment in Metropolis, where Sniggers has brought the stolen kryptonite, the woman known as the Scarlet Widow is opening the door to her mysterious visitors. 4 men, their coat collars above their chins and their hats pulled low over their eyes, silently enter the apartment. The door closes behind them. One by one, they remove their hats. A faint smile plays about the Scarlet Widow's thin lips as she greets them.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm indeed very happy to see each of you.
Who are the 4 men assembled in the Scarlet Widow's apartment? The little Cockney Sniggers stares at them in frank amazement. As still silent, they file into the drawing room where the deadly piece of kryptonite rests in its lead box on the marble pedestal. Who are they, and what plan has the widow in mind? Fellows and girls, Superman has never been in such peril, so don't miss a word of tomorrow's exciting episode. Tune in, same time, same station, for the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellas and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman. And today there's a big surprise in store as we learn the identity of the 4 visitors to the Scarlet Widow. A fragment of the former planet Krypton on which Superman was born, and which by some strange chemical action renders him weak and helpless when he comes within 10 feet of it, has been stolen from the Metropolis Museum by a henchman of the Scarlet Widow, who is known as the most dangerous woman in the world. While Superman seeks desperately to trace the kryptonite, his 4 deadliest enemies arrive mysteriously at the Scarlet Widow's ornate penthouse apartment. As we continue now, Sniggers, the widow's ferret-faced little henchman, gasps in amazement as the 4 master criminals are about to enter the drawing room. Listen.
Lord blimey, it can't be.
What can't be, Sniggers?
These blokes right here in our place. I recognise them from their photographs. This skinny one is the vulture. He's in the death cell at the big house this very minute, he is.
If I am, this is the finest death cell I've ever seen.
Thank you, Vulture.
And this one here with the thick glasses, he's the one they calls the devil.
Yeah, I'm the Teufel, which means the devil.
You hear that, Widow? And this one here, what looks like a school teacher, he's Papa Roush. And that's this great big and you're the laugher, ain't you?
I'm the laughter, all right.
I'm dreaming, I am. These blokes is all in jail.
Yes, it's just quite the
You gentlemen will wait in the drawing room. I'll join you in a moment.
Thank you, Widow.
Lord blimey.
Wipe that silly look off your face and listen to me, Sniggers.
I'm dreaming, I am. They're all in jail.
You stupid fool, will you stop repeating that? They were in jail, but they're here now. Thanks to me.
You, Widow? You mean you got 'em out?
Of course I did.
But how? How could you?
That's my secret, one of my many secrets.
I don't understand.
Doesn't matter what you understand. We're wasting time. Those 4 men in there mean money to us. A great deal of money, Sniggers.
Money? Now you're talking, Widow.
But they're dangerous. And when they find out why they're here, well, they might forget the debt they owe me and become impulsive. Do you understand?
Right, how?
Now, there's only one way out of this penthouse, our private elevator. I want you to make sure that the Turk and Renee are both in it, and that nobody leaves this apartment unless I personally give permission. Hurry now, and join me in the drawing room.
Right there, Widow. Consider it done.
Now for the greatest coup of my career. Sorry to keep you waiting, gentlemen.
Ah, Widow, you're lovelier than ever. What a magnificent gown.
Thank you, Vulture.
You're even more beautiful than when I saw you last in Berlin before the war.
Still the same flatterer, I see, Papa Roush.
Vulture, I speak the truth, do I not?
You certainly do. Take this chair, Widow.
Oh, I prefer to sit on this couch with my cats. Come here, my pretties.
Those are beautiful cats, Widow.
Mm-hmm. You have much in common with them, Vulture. And you too, Papa Roush. You fawn and flatter me, but the moment my back is turned, you unsheath your claws.
That's telling them, Widow. You're a woman after my own heart.
Enough of this byplay. The widow did not risk her skin to bring the 4 of us here in order to hear compliments. Am I right?
You certainly are, Teufel. I had you brought here to offer you the greatest opportunity of your lives. For a price, of course.
Well, what is it?
Yes, what is it?
You, Vulture. Yesterday at this time, you sat in the death house. Who put you there?
Superman. If not for him, I would have been free. And the richest man in the world.
You, Papa Roush. 2 years ago, you were Germany's #1 espionage agent. You were well on your way to destroying all of America's war plants with your tiny model planes, but somebody stopped you. Who was it?
Superman. No one else could stop
Bluffer. You controlled practically every big racket in the United States. You were feared from one end of the country to the other as the king of America's gangsters. You seemed beyond the reach of the law.
Until Superman horned in and blasted him. I'd still have been the boss of the rackets and rolling in wealth if not for him. I had the organization, the brains, the connections. But Superman was too much for me.
Gentlemen, please. I take it we are all agreed, then, that Superman was and is the one insurmountable obstacle in your path.
But Superman still lives, and while he lives, we, clever and powerful as we are helpless, doomed to hide from him like outcast dogs.
Yeah.
Right.
Trust the Teufel to hit the bullseye.
Why do you laugh, widow? Is that why you brought us here, to laugh at us?
No. I'll tell you why I brought you here, Teufel. It was to offer each one of you, for a price, the means to conquer Superman.
Conquer Superman?
What is this nonsense you speak, widow?
You all know the Scarlet Widow. You should know that she never speaks nonsense.
But what?
I will show you. Sniggers!
Yes, what'll it be, Widow?
Remove the kryptonite from its box and place it on the pedestal.
Water? Just get me gloves on first.
Kryptonite. What is that?
Patience, gentlemen.
What's that? A piece of coal?
Coal is not green, Vulture.
Coal doesn't make noise either.
That strange green glow like cold light. And the sound, almost as if the object was radioactive. What is this, widow?
That, my friends, is kryptonite. A fragment of the planet Krypton. on which Superman was born.
Kryptonite?
When Superman comes within 10 feet of this piece of kryptonite, he loses all his strength and becomes helpless.
Superman helpless?
I seen it knock him out myself. I did with my own eyes.
Ridiculous. I don't believe it.
Gentlemen.
That's a whopper if I ever heard one.
Gentlemen, you forget yourselves. It is I, the Scarlet Widow, who assured you that what Snickers has just told you is the truth.
And you proved this, Widow.
Yes, but let me finish. I propose to cut the kryptonite into 4 equal pieces and sell them to each of you gentlemen for $1 million each.
What?
For $1 million, each of you may become the master of Superman.
Himmel, if what you say is true,
It's
Widow.
true.
That's what you say, Widow. I'm not doubting your word, see? But $1 million ain't hay. Because if you can prove what you say, I'll dig up $1 million quicker than you can wink.
Yes, and I do not have that much money, but I will secure it.
How about you, Teufel?
Prove what you say, Widow. And money is no object.
Good. I'll prove it.
How you going to do it with it?
Leave it to me, Snickers. Step over to the desk. Gentlemen, your dreams and mine are about to come true.
What is the Scarlet Widow's scheme? We'll return in a moment to find out. But first...
Say, gang, I hope you got a pencil handy so that you can jot this down, because I want to tell you again how to get your streamlined sundial wristwatch from Kellogg's Pep. First, ask Mom to get you a couple of packages of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Tear off the 2 box tops, be sure they're the ones marked top, and send them in along with 10 cents in cash and your name and address clearly printed. Send them to Superman, Box 157, Battle Creek, Michigan. Get your modern sundial wristwatch from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. More than 24 hours have elapsed since the kryptonite was stolen from the Metropolis Museum by Sniggers, the Scarlet Widow's Cockney henchman. Unable to trace Sniggers, and alarmed by the reported jailbreaks of De Teufel, the Laugher, Papa Rausch, and the Vulture, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, is in the office of Captain Donovan, Assistant Chief of Police.
This is terrible, Captain Donovan. If any one of those 4 criminals get hold of the kryptonite, I don't even want to think of what might happen.
Will you forget that silly kryptonite, Kent?
Forget it. You don't seem to understand. Until the kryptonite is recovered and destroyed, I'm in danger of my life.
You're in danger.
I mean Superman, of course.
Superman in danger of his life. Are you out of your mind?
You just listen to me and believe me. I got a hunch that the escapes of Der Teufel, the Laugher, Papa Rausch, and the Vulture are tied up with the theft of that kryptonite.
Now, I know you're crazy.
But if you...
Look, Kent, I've been patient as long as I could because you and your paper have helped the department in the past. But the 4 greatest criminals in the country have broken out of jail, heaven knows how, and I can't waste any more time listening to fairy tales about some old meteor that can finish off Superman.
It's no fairy tale.
I say it is. What? Excuse me, that's my phone. Hello?
Clark Kent there, please.
Kent, just a minute. It's for you.
Oh, thanks. Hello?
Kent, this is Burroughs at the office.
Oh, yes, Burroughs.
Look, you're working on the kryptonite story, aren't you?
Oh, I certainly am. What have you
A
got?
funny thing happened a couple of hours ago, and it's just been brought to my attention. An ad was delivered to our classified department by a special messenger. It's signed The Widow, and the $100 bill was attached. She wanted a big 10-inch ad.
Who's the widow?
How do I know? But get this. The ad was addressed to Superman.
Superman?
That's right.
Read it to me, quickly.
Okay, here it is. Superman, if you will appear above the Metropolis Bank spire tonight, exactly at midnight, and look straight east, you will see 3 winking lights, red, white, and blue. Come to the lights within 5 seconds, and you will be given an opportunity to obtain the kryptonite. Follow directions, no tricks. This is your only chance. The widow. You got it, Kent?
I got it.
I don't hear you laughing.
I'm not laughing. So long, and thanks, Burroughs.
What's up, Kent?
This is it, Captain Donovan.
What are you talking about?
Let's see. It's almost 11 o'clock. In just a little over an hour, Superman will either be back with the kryptonite, or
what?
Or he'll never be back again. So long, Captain.
His face grim, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, hurries through the busy station house to keep a mysterious appointment with the Scarlet Widow. An appointment which may mean his death. What will happen? Don't miss tomorrow's thrilling episode, fellows and girls. Tune in, same time, same station, for the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look,
Up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellas and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
In exactly 6 minutes and 45 seconds, there will be an important announcement from Space Academy Supply Headquarters. So stand by. And now, Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Four previous expeditions have gone hurtling through space to distant Delport, a planet outside our solar system, and have never been heard from again. Now the Polaris has landed on the planet's surface, but almost immediately its Space Cadet crew finds itself marooned there by a nova explosion. Setting up camp in a veritable tropical paradise, they are about to make repairs on their ship when Tom Corbett discovers signs of habitation, and at once the Space Cadets set out to investigate.
Close up, men. Stay together.
We must be getting pretty close to the colony now, Captain Strong.
Yes, Corbett. It should be just over that next rise.
I'm keeping my parallel ray handy, Captain.
All right, Manning. But remember, men, no matter what we find, you're not to fire unless I give the order. Is that clear?
Aye, sir.
Right.
Hold up a minute, Captain.
What is it?
I thought I caught a glint of metal through the brush over there.
I see it too, sir.
About 5 yards to my left. Shall I investigate?
Go ahead, Manning. We'll cover you.
Take it easy, Roger.
Jumping jets, look what I found.
What is it, Manning? Come on, then.
How do you like this?
It's the wreck of a spaceship.
It's one of ours. You can tell that at a glance.
Well, there's the answer, Captain Strong. This is the wreck of one of the earlier expeditions.
Sure, and those huts we saw must belong to the survivors.
Quite right, gentlemen. Quite right on both counts.
Jumping Jupiter, where'd he come from? Watch it, Roger. Keep that gun down.
By the rings of Saturn, sir, you must be...
Captain Yates of the Cygnus. Ah, yes.
Well, that was Expedition 1.
I think I know you, too, sir. Aren't you Captain Strong of the Solar Guard?
That's right. I'm mighty glad we found you, Captain Yates. You've been given up for lost, you know.
Naturally. It's been such a long time, dear me. Well, now that you're here, let me welcome you to my planet, gentlemen.
Thank you.
By all the suns, you don't know how good it is to see someone from Earth again.
We almost overlooked your valley, Captain. If we hadn't been flying low, we would have missed it.
Well, I'm certainly glad you didn't. Not that we have much hospitality to offer here, but if you'll come along to the village, we'll try to give you a royal welcome. And now that you've met the surviving members of my crew, I would like to present my daughter, Arlene.
Welcome to our colony, gentlemen.
No grass skirt, but she'll do.
What did you say, Cadet Manning?
Nothing, sir. I just said I was glad to meet your daughter.
Why, thank you, Cadet, and I'm sorry about the skirts. Had I known you were coming, I'd have made the necessary arrangements.
Oh, look, I didn't mean it. Well, you weren't supposed to hear what I said.
Uh-oh, Roger's done it again.
Don't mind Cadet Manning, Miss Arlene. He means well.
Of course I don't mind. After all, when a rescue expedition comes after all these years, we're very grateful to the men in it.
Ah, yes, quite so, quite so. Though I must confess, Captain, I'm a little surprised they waited so long to send you.
Why, sir, a relief expedition was sent out almost immediately. Didn't it ever turn up?
Not to our knowledge, Corbett.
All told, sir, there were 3 others before us.
3 others. Think of that, Arlene. And all lost before they reached here.
Captain Yates, I've been wanting to ask you, why didn't you try to radio for help?
Oh, I only wish we could have, but our communications man was killed when we crash-landed and our electronic equipment damaged beyond repair.
From the looks of that wreck, it's a miracle any of you survived.
Oh, purely a matter of luck, Captain. Tell me, have you been able to maintain audio contact with the advanced base?
No. Since that Nova explosion occurred in space, we've been cut off completely.
You mean communication is impossible for the time being?
Well, there's been a radiation barrier, but as soon as we make repairs, we'll try to raise the base again.
Your audio transmitter was damaged?
By that tidal wave. Our ship suffered some minor damage, too.
It's a terrible thing, those tidal waves. Terrible. One of Delport's most unpleasant characteristics.
Captain Yates, you may be able to help us.
Anything I can, Corbett, of course, certainly.
Well, were there any transmitter parts left in the wreck of your ship? If I could salvage what I need instead of having to rebuild...
You're welcome to anything you can find, Cadet. Why not investigate the wreck on the way back to your own ship?
Well, thanks, Captain. We'll do that.
And then, as soon as you've made the repairs, return here. We'd like to have a little feast and celebration, a small collation.
Sounds great, Captain Yates. As soon as we get the good news through to advanced base.
Back home, they'll be mighty glad to know we found you, sir.
Of course. You don't know how true that is, Cadet. How very true indeed.
Found any good pipes in this mess, Tom? Yes. Look at this.
What is it? Looks like a simple check valve to me.
Hey, it's a check valve, all right, but not a simple one.
What do you mean?
See for yourself, sir. This is the new improved type that was put into production last fall.
Are you certain of that?
I'm positive, sir. The very first batch of these was installed on the Sirius.
So the ship that made the 4th expedition?
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute, Junior. Are you trying to tell us this wrecked ship is the Sirius?
You're jet happy. This is Yates' ship. It can't be, Tom. Yates has old type valves. These new babies haven't been developed yet.
Yeah, but why should Yates lie to us? He said none of the rescue expeditions ever arrived here.
Just the same.
Well, I still say that we didn't...
One minute.
Sorry, sir.
I still don't see what this is all about, but it's clear that Yates has lied to us.
It certainly is.
Now, he may have some perfectly good reason, but until we find out what that reason is, we've got to proceed on the basis that this expedition, and every one of us personally, is in deadly danger.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spacemen, your official Space Cadet goggles are now ready. Send for them right away. Now, these space goggles are the very same as the goggles issued to all Space Cadets at Space Academy. They're made of a special plastic for clear visibility under all space conditions. Now, don't confuse these goggles with ordinary goggles. You know, the kind with a lens over each eye. Space goggles are made of one sweeping curved piece of colored plastic, like a giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. It even fits over eyeglasses, too. Now, this advanced design is now being used by automobile racers, motorcycle riders, and other racing men. Well, now, you join these men with your own space goggles. It's very important, though, that you send for your space goggles right away. Now, Supply Headquarters at Space Academy wants all spacemen to get their space goggles as soon as possible. So follow these official instructions. To get your space goggles, send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep Box Top, and your name and address. Repeat, 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep Box Top, your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Don't wait, spacemen. Send for your space goggles today.
The crew of the Polaris has found foolproof evidence that Captain Yates lied to them regarding the fate of the previous rescue missions to the planet Delport. And now they realize they stand in deadly danger. They would be even more convinced of this grim fact were they able to eavesdrop on a conversation taking place at the nearby village between Captain Yates and his beautiful daughter, Arlene.
Perhaps if we ask them, Father, just ask them to join our colony here and forget about the universe outside.
I tell you, it would be futile, Arlene. Just as it's been futile with most of those other stupid, stubborn solar guardsmen.
But 3 of them are just cadets.
No, they'll follow strong. You know that.
I'm not so sure. The way one of them looked at me, he might be persuaded.
I'm sure of that, my child, given time. But we have no time. They must be prevented from notifying their base that they found us.
Of course, but... Oh, please, no more killing.
Arlene, not that word. You know how I detest the very thought.
You may detest it, but you'd still do it.
Only if I must. But you do appreciate, dear child. There's no turning back.
Are you sure it wouldn't be better to just give up, Father? Admit everything. Show how this strange planet...
Now, don't get panicky. I handled those other rescue expeditions, and I'll handle this one. Hear me, I will.
They'll just keep sending ships, Father, and sooner or later...
Oh, I think not. After 5 lost ships, public opinion will be aroused, Arlene. There'll be much opposition to a 6th futile try. And the authorities will bow to public clamor.
I hope you're right, Father. I know how you feel about this place.
Do you really, my child? When I set eyes on this valley, after 50 years as a spaceman, I knew I'd found paradise at last. That's why we must not let anyone rob us of it, dear child. Not anyone. No one at all.
All right, Father. What about the Polaris transmitter? If they have a chance to repair...
Oh, yes. That must be prevented. The lengths I've gone to protect this place, that might be misunderstood. I might be called a murderer, put on trial, even executed.
Oh, no, I couldn't bear that.
Help me, child, help me.
You know I'll do anything. Provided you promise you'll give the Polaris crew a chance to make their own choice.
Very well. I will. Now, go and divert their attention while I do my work on the Polaris.
How much time will you need?
15 minutes, only 15 minutes. And then I guarantee that no one in all the universe will ever hear from them again.
I'm glad I found you.
Irene, what are you doing here?
I got through the jungle to warn you. I delayed them as long as I could, but they're on their way here.
All right. I've already wired up the rocket mechanism, and I'll be through here in a minute.
What about the communicator?
It's all set. I smashed the power tube completely, my child.
Suppose they have a spare.
They did? That's here in my pocket.
Father, when they discover they can't repair the radio, won't they decide to blast off?
Oh, I've taken care of that. The Polaris isn't going anywhere. If they try to raise ship, they'll be in for a surprise. Such a surprise.
You wouldn't kill them. Oh, you promised.
Arlene, look out the port. They're coming. Quick, through the emergency escape hatch. There's not a moment to lose.
How's it coming, Corbett?
All right, sir. These parts fit perfectly. I'll just check the circuit.
And then we talk with civilization again.
You said it, Astro.
Hey, what in the universe?
Oh, what's the trouble?
This power tube is smashed.
Hey, it must have happened in the tidal wave.
No, I checked the tubes when we took damage inventory.
Well, we've got a spare, haven't we?
Yes, sir, in the parts locker.
I'll get it, Tom. Suffering sucker.
Now what?
That spare's gone.
Impossible.
Are you sure, Astro?
Positive.
Well, I don't get it.
How in blazes could you be so stupid? We could jury-rig anything except the tube. There's no way to fix that.
No way except... Hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
All we do, sir, is blast off and get up above atmosphere. Space is a more perfect vacuum than you can find in the best tubes.
Tom, you're right.
Once in space, I'll get out on the hull and rig up a metal cover for the tube, which should give us a perfectly good vacuum tube.
Sounds good. Will it work, Captain Strong?
It ought to. Theoretically, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, then let's try it, sir.
Right. All hands to your stations. Prepare to raise ship in 5 minutes. Energize the cooling pumps.
Pumps in operation, sir.
Feed reactant.
Reactant, feeding at D9 rate, sir.
Switch in takeoff gyros.
Gyros on, sir.
Good. Blast off minus 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
Great galaxy, what was that?
Sir, that explosion came from below.
Astro. Come in, Astro.
He doesn't answer, sir.
No wonder. That blast was big enough to blow the power deck and anyone on it into space dust.
I'm all right now, sir. Just shaken up a little.
What happened down here, Astro?
I don't know, sir. I threw the switch for the rocket firing mechanism. There was a blinding flash of light and then the explosion.
And there's only one possible explanation for all this, and that's sabotage.
Captain Yates, sir?
Yates or one of his men. A deliberate attempt to keep us from blasting off.
I can't believe it.
Boys, it's time we called a council of war. We're in desperate straits now, and the odds are against us. They are enormous.
You're so right, gentlemen.
Jumping jets. It's Yates.
Don't move, any of you. Blasters are very efficient. Although I'd be very reluctant to use it, I will if I must. Truly I will.
He's back toward the emergency hatch, Roger.
Okay.
That would be most unwise, Manning. You'd only meet some of my men on the other side. Your ship is surrounded. You have no choice but to surrender.
And what do you plan to do to us, Captain Yates?
Well, that's entirely up to you, sir. To be perfectly frank, though, I'm very pessimistic. Very.
What about, Captain?
Why, that you'll be any more intelligent in your choice than so many of your Solar Guard friends. Stupid fellows, really stupid.
And what is our choice, Yates?
So simple, really simple. You acknowledge me as your leader. You live in this paradise as my faithful followers. And give up all outside ties.
Suppose we refuse.
Then you must suffer the consequences. And I do mean suffer, young man. Indeed I do.
Well, I'll say right now.
Not too hasty. You'll have time to ponder all this.
You must be insane. You can't just set up a separate kingdom and keep out the whole universe.
To date, we've managed quite well, Captain. True, we've had to destroy some ignorant people who couldn't appreciate our kind offer, but... then the price of peace is always high.
My crew and I were sent here under orders, Yates, and we'll carry them out, or die in the attempt.
As you wish, Captain. You'll find this valley a very pleasant place to die.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, send for your official Space Cadet goggles right away. These goggles, part of every Space Cadet's equipment, are so useful, well, you want to carry them and wear them every day. You know, Astro says space goggles, well, they're just about the most important things a spaceman can have. Right, Astro?
You bet, Spaceman. When I'm working down on the power deck of the Polaris, there's a lot of radiation glare around. Wearing space goggles protects my eyes. And you know, these aren't regular goggles. They're advanced design goggles for use out in space. One sweeping, curved piece of clear, colored plastic. Like the observation blister in a jet boat, or a giant bubble that fits right over both eyes. So send for your space goggles right away. Space Academy Supply Headquarters has them all ready and waiting for you. And if you're smart, you'll send for an extra pair, too, so you'll have them for emergencies.
Good idea, Astro. And now, spaceman, write this down. Here's how to get your official Space Cadet goggles. Send 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, and your name and address. I'll repeat that. 25 cents, 1 Kellogg's Pep box top, your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Hop to it, spaceman. Send for your space goggles today.
The crew of the Polaris has been imprisoned in a cave cut into a hillside near Yates Village. Working in complete darkness, the cadets have examined it carefully, going over it inch by inch with their fingertips. But they have found nothing to give them any hope of escape. Straining their eyes in the pitch-black gloom, they wait and wonder what is to happen next.
Why didn't Yates kill us? Why should he bring us here?
I overheard him tell his men something, Captain. Seems he promised his daughter to give us every chance to change our minds.
How long does that mean? Until we rot?
Unless we can find a way out.
Bad chance of that. They've got a magnetite door and an energy lock on the mouth of this cave, plus a man on guard outside.
If we only had a little light.
Quiet, everyone. Listen.
What in the universe is that?
The sound's coming from beyond the left wall, sir.
I can hear it a lot plainer now with my ear against the wall. Oh, a cosmic... Somebody's digging in there.
Captain Strong, could it be another prisoner?
It's hard to say, Manning. This hill is riddled with limestone caves. I noticed that when they brought us here.
Then it could be another prisoner.
Let's start digging toward him from this side.
With what?
With anything, Manning, including your hands. Get busy.
Almost ready to break through, sir.
All right, Tom. You keep on digging. We'll stand on either side and be ready for anything.
There goes the last of it.
What's it now?
Hello?
We've made contact.
Who's there? Who's on the other side?
Prisoners. Who are you?
Prisoner, too.
Is that hole large enough for him to come through?
I think so, sir.
Give me your hand, and I can make it all right.
Here. Hold on. That's fine. Your shoulders are through. Easy now.
Thanks. Oh, what it means to hear another voice.
Who are you, sir? I'm Captain Strong of the Solar Guard.
Strong. You too, eh? I'm Larkin, captain of the Sirius.
So this is what happened to you, sir. We found the wreckage of your ship.
Yates and his men wrecked it after we landed. They killed most of my crew, but Yates thought he could win me over to join his colony and imprisoned me here. I couldn't have stood another day alone in there.
Captain Larkin, how often do the guards bring food?
Once a day.
How many of them?
Just one man. But he's always armed with a blaster, and he makes me back away from him to the end of the cave. Why?
Would you be willing to take a risk, sir? Along with us, I mean.
Would I? Son to a man who's been buried alive for as long as I have, anything's worth a try.
All right, Larkin. Show yourself.
Yates, what are you...
I have your dinner. I brought it personally.
Well, what do I owe the...
You know the rules, Larkin. Move back. Back into the light where I can see you.
All right.
That's it. Move well back. Now, Larkin, I'm sorry it's not your dinner I'm bringing you, but your death.
Grab it! Got him, sir!
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Let me go. This is impossible.
Okay, I've got his artillery. Pin his arms and we've got it.
Don't worry, he can't make a move.
You cry out, Yates, and I'll blast you into space dust. Is that perfectly clear?
You have me. Yes, alas, you do.
Corbett, that was a mighty clever idea of yours for all of us to gather here in my cell.
It certainly was. And to have the boss wander in instead of the mess sergeant was really a break for us.
Corbett has all the luck.
Oh, I don't know, Roger. This turns out pretty well for you, too.
How do you figure, Junior?
Why, Roger, you were so unhappy at the idea of leaving Arlene, remember?
Sure, but I don't see...
Tom's right, Roger. Now she and her father will both be going back to Earth with us. And you can visit them both every day in jail.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom, Corbett, and the Space Cadets on Tuesday, when Tom and Roger Manning escort the first interplanetary circus on a trip to Venus and find that deadly peril lurks beneath the big top tent of the greatest show in the universe. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, Ian Martin, and Susan Douglas. Today's program was written by Gilbert Braun, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Begg speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because Raisin Bran has a secret.
On a desert island with a tribe of hungry cannibals who think you are a god. A tribe of natives who would eat you rather than let you escape. Escape. Produced and directed by William N. Robeson and designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Tonight we escape to the South Seas and a cannibal kingdom in H.G. Wells' famous story, Jimmy Goggles, the God.
I doubt you'll remember anything of the Ocean Pioneer, though a bit of the story that came to public knowledge made headlines in the newspapers at the time. Blimey, now that I think of it, it's been over 40 years ago at Earthman. 40 years. And at times yet I can still wake up in the middle of the night and see that cold, dead eye of Jimmy Goggles staring at me from the darkness. They're giving me the creeps even now. It all started the night the Ocean Pioneer went to the bottom of the Sonner coast. Only 2 survivors, aside from myself, came out of that wreck. Mr. Sanders, the first mate, and a seaman named Jacob. And with a bit of luck, we had enough food and water in the longboat to see us safe to Papua.
Give away, lads. 3 nights will put us on dry land again.
Aye, it is lucky men we are this time. All right, just one's our time here, Jacob. As it were for Captain Wells and 10 of the lads back there. Lying under 20 fathom of blinking green water they are.
Ain't all that's laying back there either, lads.
You meaning something like that, Mr. Saunders?
Does either of you lads know that cargo we carried?
Aye. Copra mostly and some spices.
Not that. Lads, at Guinea we shipped aboard a chest full of gold dust. Worth 40,000 pounds.
40,000
pounds. I wondered about that chest at the time, Mr. Saunders. That chest is still back there, lad. In Captain Wells' cabin.
Aye. 20 fathoms down. That'll be a nice bit of work for the salvage company.
Not necessarily, eh?
What is it you're meaning to say?
I'm the only man alive who knows ship's position when she sunk.
So you are. Go on, Mr. Saunders.
Suppose now, when we get to Papua, we give report ship struck 100 miles or so to the north. Then the salvage ship goes there, we come here, and pick up a title fortune for ourselves.
And how do we come here?
My brother-in-law has a brig in the Sydney trade. He'll come in with us. Well, lad, are you in or are you out?
40,000 pounds. I'm in. Aye, 40,000 pounds. A bloomin' fortune there for the taking. Of course we went in on it. Back in Papua, Saunders made the arrangements with his brother-in-law, Captain Ferguson. And a fortnight later, we set forth in the brig Pride of Banya. There were just the 4 of us in the diving suit. It was one of them kind of diving suits that don't have a pump or airline. Carried its own tank of compressed air attached so you could walk around on the bottom independent-like. We hung the suit on the wall in the mess room, and believe me, it was some bright times we enjoyed besides it during the 3 weeks the Pride of Banya beat in towards Sonner Channel. We'd wonder how long it'd be before we'd get there, and what the salvage ship might be finding 100 miles away from the wreck. And all the time acting like we hadn't a care in the world. And that confounded diving suit would sway back and forth like a regular human being, it would. The glass window in the front staring like a big eye in the middle of its fat copper head.
We got told we'd talk to it like it was somebody. And we even give it a name. Jimmy Goggles, we called it. Jimmy Goggles. And every time we'd break open some rum, we'd pour a glass or so into Jimmy Goggles. So by the time we got to Sonner, instead of smelling rubbery, his inside was as sweet as a cask of rum. When we found the place, we was afraid to take the brig into the rocks where the wreck was lying. So we anchored about half-mile off, and all of us rowed to it in the longboat.
Aye. She's still there, all right. I can see the tip of one of her masts above the water.
Devil take the mast. It's the fortune below I'm interested in.
Oh, fear. It'll be there, lad. There to the port a bit.
Hey, is it still agreed that I'm the one to go inside Jimmy Goggles to make the first trip down?
Aye, George. It's what we decided. Easy now. Now on to her.
I can't say I envy you none, George.
Back the oars now. Easy. There. Got a line around the mast. Keep us from drifting. Better get into that diving suit, George.
Right away, Captain Ferguson.
Aye. Just as happy it ain't me that's going down.
Huh? Yeah. Why not take it?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
It'll be cold and dark down there at 20 fathom. Might be sights that ain't good for a man to see. In the dark and alone.
Jacobs, you wander on like an old woman. I reckon the look of 40,000 pounds will cure a heap of other sights.
I'm ready, sir. Except to secure the faceplate.
Good. You know how to operate the valve?
Aye, sir.
And turn on the air.
George, you'll find the chest in Captain's cabin. Move it if you can, or see about the chances of getting a line on it.
Right, Joe.
And good luck.
Aye, good luck. Good luck.
Well, cheerio, lads. I closed the little glass window in my helmet and fastened it. Then I edged toward the stern. Saunders was saying something, but I couldn't make out what it was. We didn't have no ladder, so I slid over the stern and hung there by the gunwale for a minute with the helmet out of the water. I took a last look at the light of day, and then I let go. Slow it was. I sunk down through that green water. The only sound was the air bubbling out of the helmet valve. That valve, you understand, was the only way you had of controlling the descent of old Jimmy Goggles. If you opened it up, down you'd go. If you clamped it fairly tight, the suit would get full of air, and up you'd pop as fast as a man would care to. Full 5 minutes or more it took to sink that 20 fathom. Them ghostly sea ferns went slithering past like snakes, and big purple and red clumps of jagged coral, and the light from the surface getting dimmer and dimmer. So as by the time I hit bottom, it was pretty near dark. I was happy to find myself come right down on the deck of the old Ocean Pioneer. Aye, and a familiar sight she was, saving for the crabs skittering around her planks, the bloomin' fish swimming past my head and goggling in through the window of my helmet. I made my way to the deck cabin. Right before the door, I stumbled onto a blinking skeleton, lying there on the deck as peaceful as you please. Judging by the gold braid still hanging on it, it had been old Captain Wells himself. So there weren't enough left of it now to make a decent meal for an hungry guppy. Bobbed around like very gentle when I touched it, and all the time was wearing an horrible grin on its bony face. Like to give a man the shivers. I tell you certain I got through the business down there as quick as I could. Found the chest of gold and figured out the best way to get a blocking line on it. But even so, it must have been an half hour before I clamped the air valve and started for the top. Halfway up, something hit my helmet and slid on down past. I found myself looking right into the blooming face of First Mate Saunders. His mouth was hanging open, and a kind of pink smoke was drifting out of it and making a cloud in the water. I saw he had a spear run through his neck from one side to the other, and he was dead on the mackerel. He sunk on past out of sight, and
Then Jacobs drifted down from above, and I could see his head was all twisted to one side like and his neck was broken. He was dead, too. Then it hit me. The lads on top had been massacred by a boatload of them bloomin' heathen savages. And like as not, if I poked my head out, the same would happen to me. Oh, blimey. I cracked open the helmet valve and shot down toward the bottom. I sat down there on a sunken rock for nigh on to 15 minutes, I guess, trying to figure out what to do. But any way a man would look at it, there weren't but one answer. But finally, crazy as it seemed, I got up and started out to walk ashore. After a while, the bottom began to slope up and it wasn't so dark anymore. Finally, my helmet poked up out of the water. I saw the beach about 50 yards away with dark jungle right behind it. I sloshed on through the water and came out on the sand. Then I opened the faceplate in Jimmy Goggles' head and cut off the air from the tank and took a deep breath of the natural kind. That's when I saw them. At least 100 blinking savages painted up like banshees. It stepped out of the brush and started moving towards me, slow, beating soft on a couple of drums and growling low and evil-like. Well, George Herbert, you're in for it now, I tells myself. Half a mile of underwater walking and you're still forgetting your bloomin' throat cut. I snapped the faceplate partway shut and cracked the air valve a bit. The diving suit swelled up like a blessed frog. And I started walking toward them. When I got close, they moved back along two sides of a kind of path, and I walked right down the middle of it. It led back into the jungle, and pretty quickly come out in a little clearing with a grass hut standing in the middle of it. And sitting in front of the hut was an heathen idol, carved out in koa wood. Was grinning about as hideous as you ever hoped to see. And the idea hit me. I was in a spot. It couldn't be much worse, and maybe it would work. The natives seemed to be awed by Jimmy Goggles already. So I reached out and gave the idol a great push, expecting any second to feel a spear through my gullet. I looked up. Blimey, if them heathens weren't down on their faces, worshipping like mad. It had worked. Oh, not me, you understand. Except in the manner of speaking. It was Jimmy Goggles with his copper head and his one glass eye, with me inside him. They'd seen him walk up out in the sea, and they figured he was a god. Old rum-soaked Jimmy Goggles. A regular bloomin' god. After a while, it began to get on my nerves, so I went inside the hut. They stayed outside and didn't follow me, but they didn't go away, neither. In a couple of hours, it started to get dark, and I was wondering if they meant to spend the rest of their lives out there bowing on the ground. Finally, a tall native, painted up like a circus clown, stepped inside the door and stood there, just grinning like old Satan himself. Blimey, if I had me a pistol, my beauty, I'd have you grinning on the other side of your face.
Oh, would you now?
Huh? What?
You're speaking mighty bold for a man who's had a lot of luck.
Depart, unworthy mortal, for I smite you with lightning.
Oh, relax, one. I've been some time around plantations in Papua. Learned thing or two I did, including English language.
Jumping, Christopher. What the devil are you doing here?
Taking advantage my simple bedroom. Something else I learned at Papua. My name, Mamala. I'm high priest, witch doctor. Call it whatever you want.
Oh, I'm happy to know you. Mine's George Herbert, officer of the English brig Pride of Banyan.
The late brig, you might say. Boys burned it a couple hours ago.
Burned it? What for? Aye. Why was it you attacked us in the first place?
Oh, a bit of go like that once in a while keeps boys feeling joyful like, George. It's harmless in manner of speaking.
Harmless, is it?
That's for my boys it won't.
Oh, well. What were you diving for out there, anyhow?
Pearls.
So it's now, mate. You are looking over that wreck down there on the reef. What's aboard her?
All right, Mamela. She was carrying 40,000 pounds in gold dust.
40,000 pounds? Know where it is?
Aye.
We could use 40,000 pounds, couldn't we, George?
I'm listening.
We might make deal. You keep on being the god, and I be your high priest. You can't talk their language anyway. Between us, we'll have him eating out of our hands. Meanwhile, we'll figure a way to raise gold off the bottom.
Hold off. You mean I gotta go on wearing this bloomin' suit all the time?
Only if you want to stay alive. They found there was man inside it. I tear you to pieces.
Oh, me, it ain't all it's cracked up to be being a god.
At least you're alive, mate. And we'll both be rich.
Aye. Are you gonna spend the night out there?
We'll be leaving after ceremony, except for guards of honor.
I understand you. What's the ceremony?
Oh, a little piece of business with owner of brig. We captured him alive, you know.
Captain Ferguson? What kind of business?
A bit of this, a bit of that. When they get done, they cook him, of course.
Cook him?
Well, now, you wouldn't expect boys to eat him raw. Wouldn't be civilized, you know. See you in the morning, George.
Oh, it was pretty horrible, all right. But what with one thing and another, I didn't feel as bad about it as I might have. After all, I hadn't known the captain too well anyhow. Nearly a month went by in mighty uncomfortable fashion. And all the time, Mamela was trying to figure some way to get that gold out of the wreck. I was right in with him at first. And I got to noticing how he was always saying what he could do with 40,000 pounds. And then I'd kind of remind him we was apples, and he'd grin, strange-like, and so that's what he meant all the time. But I didn't trust him no wise. And I started stalling every way I could, and things stayed about as they were. I kept on being a garden. We couldn't get no proper chance to go after the gold. Then one morning, Mamela and most of the tribe went back into the jungle to hunt. I was sitting in the hut trying to think of some way to do for that heathen before he could do for me, when I happened to hear voices outside. I sneaked a look through the palm's edge. It was an Englishman, dressed up fit to kill in white canvas shorts and a sun helmet and all. He had a native interpreter all dressed up and walking with him.
They're idols. Tribal gods. But it's been turned over. Do they no longer worship such things? Master, I could...
Looky here, Tance. If you'll step inside, I'll show you what they're worshipping.
Hey, now.
Come in, come in. Welcome, Jack.
Stop that heated chattering. I taught you better.
Oh, now take it easy, lad. Nothing but a diving suit, you know.
Yes, of course. I saw that. Who are you, anyway?
Yeah, no, let's not be asking names, seeing as I didn't ask yours.
There's no objection to telling you, sir. It's Bender. I'm with the Royal Anglico-Baphuan Missionary Society.
No, not really.
Please. No profanity.
Might be a threat. How'd you get here?
By sailing cutter, down coast from the Banquille Residency.
Well, you've had a bit of luck. If the boys was here, you'd be in a proper fix by now.
Oh, I dare say we'd be in no danger.
No danger, huh? What is it you'd call being cooked like a pork tenderloin? Have they done it to one of my friends?
An adventurer, no doubt. But the natives are well aware that if anything happened to me, there'd be a gunboat here from the residency in 48 hours.
Oh, that's how the wind blows, is it?
It is indeed. And may I ask why you're masquerading in that diving rig?
Aye. To keep from getting myself killed, that's why. The natives think this blinking rubber union suits the regular god.
I see. And you've been preying on their childish credulity.
Childish as may be, Mr. Bender, but they've got full-grown teeth. Oh, and I've seen them in action.
Well, you'll simply have to take your chances, because I'm going to expose you.
You know, you can't be doing that. Well, if they was to find out I was a human being, they'd do me in for fair.
Well, I'll help you as much as I can, but you should have thought of that before you tried exploiting them.
But you can't let it happen to a fellow Englishman.
Then why don't you leave now while they're away? You'd likely be able to get aboard the ship that's working a mile or so down the coast.
What ship?
Some salvage vessel looking for a wreck. They think it might have drifted down the channel from the north.
Oh, it just might have it there. They might find it. Mr. Bender, I'll make a proposition.
I won't promise anything, but I'll listen.
Leave here now and sail down the coast a ways and stay till nightfall. Then come back as soon as it's dark, and I'll let you expose me to your heart's content. In fact, you might say, Mr. Bender, I'll even welcome it. Weren't nothing else to do. If that salvage ship found who I was, I'd be in it for good. They'd know by now that we'd filed a false report about the position of the wreck, so we could get the gold for ourselves. They'd put me in the brig for sure. And if I tried to leave with Bender, he'd turn me into the first British resident we come across. I had no chance at all at the 40,000. If I stayed here, like as not, I'd end up parceled amongst 100 heathen stomachs. But I had one chance of showing that blinking mammal as how he weren't the only one that knew a thing or two. I finally talked Bender into leaving, and about dusk, Mamela and the boys came back.
Understand that nosy man, Bender, was snooping around here this afternoon, George. Know anything about it?
Bender, eh? Oh, that's who it was. I saw him prowling around the clearing, but he didn't come inside the hut. I'd have given him what for if he had.
It's a good thing he didn't. It's a blasted nuisance, always interfering with established customs of the people.
Like witch doctors, eh, Mamela?
Gods, too, George. He'd do for you quick, and he would be.
Why don't the boys just eat it?
No. That would be too dangerous. He'd be missed and they'd send gunboats.
Not still around here somewhere, is he?
No. Women say he sailed on south.
Good. I'd just as lief not meet him face to face.
He was for him with that face you're wearing.
Oh, and I'm nigh on to being fed up with wearing it. Mamela and me, aren't he? I'll make you a proposition.
Mm-hmm. What kind of proposition, George?
Why don't you take over being God?
And what would you be doing if that happened?
Oh, leave me some food and water in one of the boats, and as soon as it's dark, I'll cut and run for it. It'll be easy for you to get the gold that way. Aye. And you can have the old 40,000.
Your generosity embarrasses me, George.
Anyways, supposing I was up and died sudden like, how'd you explain my body to the boys?
I have been thinking about that, but I hadn't figured it out yet.
I was wondering if you hadn't been.
You know a thing or two, don't you, George?
Enough to know you weren't going to share with me unless you had to.
Frankly, you're right. This may be best way. I'd have my little brethren right under my thumb. You out of my way with no need for explanation. All right, George. I'll keep the boys away from the clearing so you can make your break. Both be ready in half hour. Good luck.
Working out just as nice as you please. I made my break all right, but I wasn't heading for any boat. No, sir, not me. Leastwise, not yet. I hid myself in the jungle at the edge of the clearing. Then I waited. After a while, them savages started drifting back into the clearing, and pretty soon Mamela, all dressed up in Jimmy goggles, came out and sat in front of the hut, the way I'd been doing every night. And the bloomin' heathens started in bowing down, all just as usual. I waited a long time before I finally heard it. A commotion starting over at the far edge of the clearing and coming closer. It was Bender and his boy Friday, walking through the crowd to where Jimmy Goggles sat with Mamela inside him. The crowd moved aside and let him pass, but you could tell they were just waiting for that one-eyed god of theirs to knock him stone dead. He stopped in front of the hut.
All right, I'm back. Suppose you carry out your part of the bargain and take off that... Get out, you fool! I didn't really believe you were honest. All right, Thomas. Tell the natives this is nothing but a man dressed up. Hey, Cadet!
Blimey, if Bender didn't jump onto Mamela and start turning at the front of the diving suit. And all the time that heathen witch doctor kept trying to fight him off. And it seemed as though Mamela hadn't known how to fasten the helmet properly, because suddenly it tipped back on his shoulders, and there he was. A face them savages knew as well as their own offspring. And they didn't like it even one little bit. Aye. They'd been taken in by one of their hometown boys, so to speak, and they weren't for having any. They didn't harm Bender none, but they shoved him off to one side. They made one grand rush from Memphis. And they got it. And blimey, if what happened then wasn't downright uncivil. I cut and run for it and tumbled into that boat and shoved off. I couldn't help but feel a bit sorry for old Mamela, though it wasn't as if he hadn't eaten his own share of human beings. And of course, he certainly wasn't a man who could be trusted at all. Well, it was a long time after, before I heard how Mr. Bender made out. Seems as though he couldn't get them bloomin' heathens to listen to him at all. Then one day he hit on the idea of climbing into that diving suit. And from then on he had a crowd around every time he'd open his mouth. As far as I know, old Jimmy Goggles may still be down there somewhere. With his battered copper head, and his rummy smell, and his one glass eye. He may still be doing business. Right down there at the same old stand.
Checks and Wheat Checks, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are searching for an abandoned spaceship, half buried in a landslide in the mountains of Venus.
Well, whatever forced this spaceship to land, it certainly wasn't lack of fuel. Look at all these drums bolted in their racks.
Mm-hmm. They all seem to be full.
Commander, the ship's moving. Dirt's giving way. We're sliding down the slope. Run for the next compartment. One of the drum tippers will be crushed. Commander!
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Treasure of Mount Rollcab. It's tops, it's tops, it's tops. Yes, sir, Space Patrollers, Rice Chex is tops 3 ways. For taste, for size, for get up and go. So get Rice Chex today. 1, tops for taste. delicious shredded rice. Oven toasted 3 times to make it 3 times tastier. Yep, tasty, extra tasty, and super tasty. That's Rice Chex. 2, tops for size, because Rice Chex is made of that modern bite-sized design. Light, fluffy, sunny gold, triple toasted shredded rice biscuits, just the right size for an easy bite. 3 tops for get up and go, you betcha. A nourishing breakfast with Rice Chex, and zip, zoom, you're way, way ahead before you even start. That's why Commander Corey made Rice Chex an official cereal of the Space Patrol. Rice Chex, the cereal that's good with cream and sugar, good with fruit on top, good right from your pocket for snacks. Rice Chex, bite-sized shredded rice biscuits, hollow inside so they can fill up with cream for a super luscious bite. Rice Chex, full of that get up and go, the kind of energy you need to be an honest-to-goodness space patroller like Buzz Corey and Cadet Happy. So remember, Rice Chex is tops 3 ways. Get Rice Chex today. And get Wheat Chex today. Wheat Chex, the wonderful, power-rich Space Patrol cereal made of hearty whole wheat. Bite-sized, too, and what a bite. Wowie, hurry, get Chex today. The only cereals that bring you a free Space Patrol trading card inside the package. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. And now today's Space Patrol adventure, the treasure of Mount Rocob. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy have landed their spaceship in a clearing at the base of Mount Rocob on the planet Venus. Leisurely, they stroll up a rough path overhung with lush Venus vegetation toward a crude cabin built against the side of the mountain. In the trees above them, large squirrels chatter and scold, while gaily plumed birds start about like streaks of flame among the branches.
Smoking rockets, Commander. What a wonderful place to spend a 5-day leave.
I knew you'd like it, Ham.
I'm sure glad the rain's let up, though. Looks like we'll get in a few days hunting after all.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little puzzled about Matt, though.
What do you mean, not answering your spacephone call?
Yes, I was afraid at first the heavy rains might have damaged his cabin, but it's all right.
Hey, a real old-fashioned log cabin.
And Matt built it himself with old-fashioned hand tools. No Atomo power saws for Matt Henshaw.
Well, don't tell me he hunts with a bow and arrow.
He's not that old-fashioned. No, if we go hunting, Matt will lend us one of his special guns. There's not even an instant of suffering for the animal, no matter where it's hit. Looks like Matt isn't home.
What now?
We'll go in and wait. He never locks his door.
Smells kind of musky.
It certainly does. I think it's been shut up for some time.
Maybe Mr. Henshaw's taking a vacation.
There's no place he'd want to go that I know of. He has no relatives. Matt must have been gone several days. Look at the dust all over everything.
Well, could he have gone on a long hunting trip? Or farther up the mountain, maybe?
In all the rain?
Well, maybe he left before the rain and got caught in it. A landslide, maybe.
If it were anyone else but Matt Henshaw, I'd say that was a good explanation. I'll check the space phone. Maybe Matt contacted Venus City. Commander Corey calling Space Patrol Headquarters, Venus City. Commander Corey calling Venus City Space Patrol.
Venus City Space Patrol here. Go ahead, Commander.
I'm at Matt Henshaw's cabin at the base of Mount Rocob. But there's no sign of Henshaw. Have you received a message from him?
I have no record of it, Commander. If you can tell me when it was to have been received, I'll check on it.
If he did call, it would have been an emergency.
We've received no emergency messages from that sector of Venus, Commander, except, of course, about the escape.
What escape?
Oh, sorry, sir. I thought you knew. The escape from Criminal Rehabilitation Camp number 2, south of Mount Rocob.
When did this happen?
Yesterday, sir. It happened when some of the men about to be released were called out on special emergency detail on account of the flood.
How many escaped?
Well, just one man, Commander, Hope Sherman. He managed to slip away while the men were building barricades.
Well, Sherman's dangerous. Have they located him yet?
Not yet, sir, but it's only a matter of time. That whole lowland region is a network of wire-filled ravines and marsh. He can't get far.
Unless he had help from outside. Well, right now, I'm more concerned about Matt Henshaw. I'm going to look for him. I'll call you back at 1400 hours.
Yes, Commander.
Corey out.
Say, that criminal rehab center isn't far from here, is it, sir?
No, just a few miles.
I was just thinking, maybe Sherman had something to do with Mr. Henshaw not being here.
By the looks of this cabin, Henshaw's been gone for days. Sherman escaped only yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, Hap. We'll work our way up the mountain and see if we can find any trace of Henshaw. Several miles from the cabin, higher up the slope of Rocob Mountain, 2 men pushed their way through the brush. Finally, they stopped and gazed at a raw scar of reddish clay where a landslide has spilled down the mountainside into a muddy, turbulent mountain stream.
I tell you, Oak, there isn't any point going out further.
I say there is. Sooner or later, it's going to be narrow enough so we can cross.
Then we can work our way down, far away from the rehab center.
Well, I wonder if they found my spaceship yet.
Yeah, probably. I wish you hadn't landed so far from the center.
How did I know that flash flood was going to cut us off? What a lousy break.
Never mind, Endicott. The important thing is I'm free. We can live indefinitely on this mountain. There's plenty of game. Space Patrol will never think of looking for us here.
Well, suppose the rain begins again.
It'll slow us down, all right, but it'll also slow down the search. Endicott, what in Saturn's rings is that?
What?
That thing sticking out of the dirt where the landslide is.
It's a big sharp rock, I guess.
Rock nothing. It's the prow of a spaceship.
You're right, Hope. It must have crashed in the storm.
Not in this last storm. Look at that hull, how rusty it is. Must have crashed years ago, and the landslide uncovered it.
What do you know about that?
Endicott, this is a break. There's shelter in and probably supplies. We can hold up here for a while if we have to.
I don't like the looks of it. It may slide down into the stream any minute.
Not unless there's a lot more rain. Come on, let's see what's inside the old hulk. Would you look at the design of that hull? They haven't built ships like that in 40 years.
It's an old one, all right. Wonder what happened.
Endicott, hold it. Look here in the mud. Those footprints aren't 40 years old.
You're right. Somebody's been here since the rain stopped.
Yeah, and he's made several trips back and forth.
Hey, somebody's coming out of the ship. I'll bless him when he steps out of the hatch.
Put that gun down, you fool. We're hunters, see? Now, come on. It's only one man, and he's unarmed.
Hold on there. You fellas what?
We're hunting. We saw the spaceship and came to investigate.
Well, there isn't anything to see. Just an old hulk that's been abandoned for years. What are you hunting? If it's elk, you'll find a herd farther up the mountain on the west slope.
Thanks. That's what we're after, all right. Elk.
If you head around this landfall, you'll find the going fairly easy.
Thanks.
If you start now, you'll reach the elk herd in time to pick off a couple before dark.
Yeah, well, thanks for the information.
Hey, he acted kind of anxious to get rid of us. What's he up to?
I don't know. But he's got something inside that ship that he doesn't want anybody to know about. He's been lugging it out trip after trip. We'll get out of sight, see what he's up to, and then follow him.
How far is he going to lug that thing?
Not much farther. The way he's staggering.
You're right. He's stopping. Hey, that metal bar must be valuable. He's hiding it behind the rocks.
All right, Endicott. You rush him. I'll stay back here and cover you. I don't think he's armed, but if he starts to draw, I can pick him off from here.
Okay. Hold it a minute, partner. What you got there? I said, what have you got there?
It's none of your business.
Well, just take a look. Well, quite a stack of metal bars you got behind the rock, mister. It's a lot of trouble to go to, lugging them all the way down from that old ship. Uranium. Hundreds of pounds of it. Why, it's worth a fortune.
Yes, it's uranium. It's mine by right of discovery. But I'll be willing to give you a couple bars.
Well, now, isn't it generous? I got news for you. You're giving up the whole works right now.
Drop that ray gun.
Sure.
I'm sure glad to see you, Commander.
Been worried about you, man.
Hey, where'd that come from?
That was just a warning. Now, you space patrolmen, drop your weapons or I'll blast you apart.
Yeah, that's my partner. Hid up in the brush. And he means what he says.
You do as I say, no one will be hurt. Now, drop your weapons.
Do as he says, Happy. Before we could hit him, he'd mow us down.
Yes, sir.
All right, Endicott, get your weapons and come on.
Why not finish then?
There might be more space patrolmen around. Any more shots would lead them right here. Now, come on.
Who are those men?
I don't know, Commander. Never saw him till a few minutes ago.
The one we didn't see. What does he look like?
Oh, he's tall, over 6 feet, black hair. Got a V-shaped scar on his upper lip. Pulls his mouth into a sort of sneer.
Sounds like Hope Sherman, the escaped criminal from the rehabilitation center south of the mountain.
Hope Sherman, see? We did get off lucky.
I hope you're right. Oh, Matt, this is Cadet Happy.
Howdy, son.
Howdy.
Let's get to your cabin and get some weapons, and we can go after Hope and his pal.
Yeah, if you say so, but that'll give him a head start.
I've got some weapons up ahead in the derelict spaceship.
The derelict spaceship?
All right, let's go, but take it easy. We won't try to get close to Hope until we're armed.
Commander, I suppose I better come clean about this stack of polonium back there. I found it in this deserted spaceship. I wanted to be sure no one took it away from me, so
Moments later, Buzz Happy and Matt Henshaw cautiously approached the rusted hulk of the spaceship, protruding from the moist red clay of the landslide. Seeing no trace of the escaped criminal, Hope Sherman, and his partner, the three men enter the ancient wreck. Buzz runs his experienced eye over the interior fittings, the crude-appearing control panel with its tarnished instruments. Matt, this ship is at least 150 years old.
Smoking rockets.
I had it figured around 100.
Of course, it's hard to tell how long it's been here on Mount Rocob.
I found it here about a week ago after that first big rain.
It may have been covered up a century or more ago by another landslide. You say you found no trace of the crew?
No. They must have got out after they landed. Haven't touched a thing in here except that polonium. When I saw that stack of shiny bars, I got greedy for the first time in my life. Well, I figured I'd get part of it by right of discovery, but I wanted it all. So I took it out of the ship and hid it. I stayed here at the ship to guard it.
We'll talk about the selenium later. Where are those weapons?
They're back aft in the fuel hold. I'll show you.
Now, you stay here at the hatch. Hap and I can find the guns. Let me know if you see anyone outside.
Yes. Oh, you better take this atomo light. It's dark back there.
Oh, thanks. Come on, Hap, let's have a look.
Well, whatever forced the ship to land, it certainly wasn't lack of fuel. Just look at all those drums bolted in their racks.
They all seem to be full.
Commander, the ship's moving.
The dirt's giving way. We're sliding down the slope.
Hey, the fuel drums, they're breaking loose. We've got to get out of here. One of those drums hits us, we'll be crushed. Commander! My leg, it's caught. I'm jammed between two drums.
I'll get you out, Hap.
Well, at least the ship isn't sliding anymore.
This thing's heavy.
What was that?
The shot. Somebody shooting through the hull. Must be Hope Sherman. If he hits one of these fuel drums, the ship will blow up.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
This is Dick Tufeld reporting on America's most heavily armed fighter interceptor, the Northrop Air Force Scorpion, F-89D. In a moment, we'll hear from the test pilot on this plane, Bob Love, Korean jet ace, with a record of 6 MiGs in 6 weeks. Primary job of the Scorpion is to protect our country from invading aircraft. Speed more than 600 miles per hour. Weight 20 tons. Now, Bob Love recorded at Edwards Air Force Base.
You know, a fella has to be in top condition to test fly a fast aircraft such as the Scorpion. And that's why I always make it a rule to sleep well and eat well. So, for breakfast, I pick a cereal like Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. They're chock full of energy and really taste good. You'll like them.
No other cereal, puff, or flake contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So take a tip from Bob Love, Phil Houghton, and other top test pilots. Make your cereals Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. And here's big news. Inside of Chex, you now get a thrilling new Space Patrol trading card. Flip 'em, trade 'em, collect the whole set of 40. Free Space Patrol trading cards inside of Rice Chex and Wheat Chex.
And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, the treasure of Mount Rocob. On Mount Rocob, on the planet Venus, Buzz and Happy rescued the mountaineer Matt Henshaw from 2 criminals, Endicott and Hope Sherman. The outlaws, however, succeeded in disarming the commander and Happy and then fled up the mountain. Henshaw then led Buzz and Happy to a wrecked spaceship to obtain weapons to pursue Sherman and Endicott. While the space patrollers were in the fuel hold, searching for the weapons, the spaceship began sliding down the mountain. A heavy fuel drum broke loose from its moorings, pinning Happy against a bulkhead. Now, as Buzz struggles to free Happy, the rusty old hull of the ship is pierced by gunfire.
He's coming awfully close to those fuel drums.
I'll be out here in a second, Hap. Just roll this thing a few inches.
Hey, he hit a drum.
I wonder it didn't explode.
You're getting it, Commander. That does it, sir. I'm free now.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Uh-oh, he hit another drum.
Fuel spraying all over.
One little spark and we'll blow up the whole side of the mountain. Come on, let's get out of here before this fuel blows up.
Wait a minute, Happy. I don't think there's any danger.
Huh? No danger? What?
If that was fuel, we'd smell it.
Well, what is it then?
Water. Brackish, foul-tasting water.
Yeah, but the metal drums, they all have rocket fuel painted on them.
Yes, that may be a clue to how this ship happened to land on the mountain with a cargo of thalanium. Somebody switched drums.
Yeah, but then something went wrong and the thalanium wasn't picked up.
We'll tackle that mystery later. Come on. Oh, Matt, where are those weapons?
They're...
Commander, Mr. Henshaw's hurt.
My shoulder. I got clipped by a hook of metal from the hook.
Hope's bullets.
I'll go after that rat.
Oh, wait, Happy. Hope and his pal may be waiting out there to pick us off. Gotta take care of Matt first. See if you can find a first aid kit.
Yes, sir.
100 yards away from the ancient ship, Hoke lowers his weapon and turns to Endicott.
If there is any fuel left in that old hulk, that must have deteriorated.
You probably got all three of them anyway. You sure riddled the hull.
Anyhow, they're scared, and now's our chance. Let's go.
Up over the mountain?
No, down. The way's clear now.
But you said there might be more space patrollers around here.
If Corey had anyone with him, they'd be up here by now. This is our way out. He must have a spaceship down at the base of the mountain. We'll get to it and blast off.
In a space patrol ship?
Sure, what could be safer? It'll at least get us off Venus.
Yeah. We can get another ship later, out in space.
Sure, and on the way down, we can pick up that thalanium.
Are you crazy? The two of us would have to make a dozen trips at least. By that time, Corey might come after us.
If he's still alive, which I doubt. Anyway, there's no risk. One of us will guard the trail while the other lugs thalanium down to the ship. Why leave a fortune like that up in the mountains?
Yeah, it's now or never, I guess. All right, let's go.
Back in the control compartment of the derelict spaceship, Commander Corey bandages Matt Henshaw's wounded shoulder.
Well, it's not a very professional job, Matt, but it's the best I can do under the circumstances.
It's fine, Commander. I figured I got off lucky. You take off after those crooks. I'll be all right here.
No, Matt, you've got to have medical attention. Happy and I are going to get you to our spaceship.
Just how do you think you're going to get me down the mountain? Can't walk. And I'm no hummingbird, believe me.
It'll be a rough journey, all right. Rough for all three of us, but especially for you, man. Now, wait. That stream out there.
Huh?
Flows right down the mountain to within a few hundred feet of our ship. If we can make a raft...
Yeah, but is the stream deep enough?
It's worth a try.
It's going to be some job finding logs.
We'll make a pontoon raft.
Out of what?
We'll empty a couple of those fuel drums and roll them down to the water. And we can lash a few poles to them with ropes.
After 2 hours of strenuous labor, Buzz and Happy assemble their makeshift raft. At last, they carry the injured Matt Henshaw down to the stream and place him gently on the bed of logs and saplings lashed securely to the empty fuel drums. Lifting, tugging, and shoving, they get the raft into the stream and climb aboard.
She rides pretty high in the water, sir.
It's going to be hard to maneuver in case we run into any rapids.
Don't worry about that, Commander. The stream's quieted down considerably since yesterday.
Are you comfortable, man?
Yeah, sure. This is real relaxing.
All right, Happy, take that pole and let's shove off.
Aye, aye, sir. Here we go.
Come on, Endicott. Just a little farther.
I don't think I can make it.
Yes, you can. This is the last trip. We'll load the bars and be on our way. Hey, look. There's Corey's ship down there, ready to take us to freedom.
Oh, my leg, my back. This bar weighs more than all the others put together.
Now, forget how tired you are. Just remember we'll never have to do another bit of work the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's right, Hoke.
Hold it. Stop.
What is it?
Down at the edge of the water, I saw something. Something moved. There, you see?
Space patrolmen. I saw their uniform. It was Corey and the Cadet.
They must have come down the stream.
They'll get to the ship before we do.
Now, don't get panicky, Endicott. One of them's hurt. We can't see him now on account of these trees, but when they come out of the trees, they'll have to cross the clearing to get to the ship. I can pick them off from here. Stay behind this rock and don't make a sound.
Don't miss, Hoke. We're so near to freedom. Don't miss.
They haven't got a chance.
We're nearly there, Matt. Yes, Mr. Henshaw. As soon as we get through these trees, you'll see the ship.
I sure am in a lot of trouble. It's the first time in my life I haven't been able to walk on my own 2 feet. Since I was a baby, of course.
Put your weight on me, Matt.
I sure fixed your leave for you. Some hunting trip this turned out to be.
It wasn't your fault that Hoke Sherman escaped from the rehab center.
Maybe not, but if I hadn't been so careless as to get in the way of one of his bullets, you'd have caught up with him by now.
The minute we get aboard the ship, I'll notify Venus City Space Patrol. They'll have search ships all over this mountain region.
Sure, Hoke and his pal Endicott won't have a chance.
Wait a minute. Hold it.
What's the matter?
Look over there to the right. Isn't that a pretty sight?
A bull elk.
Wow, look at that head and those antlers.
He's a big one, all right. First time I ever saw one down this close to my cabin. Well, Cadet, here's your chance.
Chance?
We're downwind of him. He's far enough away to make a fair sporting shot. Well, son, what are you waiting for?
Well,
You came here to go hunting, didn't you?
Yes, sir, but...
But what?
Well, I guess I've got too recent a memory of what it feels like to be shot at.
Commander?
Thanks, Matt. Some other time.
Fine couple of sportsmen you are. Fly several million miles to go hunting and throw away an opportunity like this. I'm proud of you.
Let's get to the ship, Matt.
Sure.
Yeah, the elk must have heard us. He's turning his head.
Hit the dirt! You okay, Matt?
Yeah.
There goes the elk, bounding back into the trees. I guess he isn't hit. Hey, who shot at him?
Take a look up there on those rocks. See them through the trees?
Uh-oh.
Sherman.
Right. Lie still, Happy. Slide your gun over here to me.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Commander, you don't expect to pick those fellas off with that weapon at this distance, do you?
We can't get much closer without exposing ourselves. Here goes.
I think I know what's the matter, sir. I was in the water over my waist, and the gun got wet. Now, we're in a fine mess. We can't possibly reach the ship.
Happy. Your belt buckle is shiny. It would make a tempting target. Take it off and put it on the end of a stick. Wiggle it around so they can pick up the glint.
Draw their fire, you mean?
Yes, not too often. Just enough to keep them interested. Move around a little, but keep down.
Yes, sir.
Matt, you just lie there.
I think I see them. Something's gleaming among the trees close to the edge of the clearing. You see it?
Yeah, they're watching us.
You only hadn't fired that other shot.
How did I know it was an elk?
Oh, don't get sore, Hoke. I'm only saying it's too bad they were tipped off.
Shut up. I'm going to try again.
Did you get him?
I can't tell yet.
You missed, Hoke?
Corey!
Indicate. Hit him! I'll get him, Hoke.
All right, both of you, on your feet.
Okay, Corey.
Sure. Down to the ship, on the double.
Everything's okay back aft, Commander, except that Endicott and Hope Sherman don't look so good.
Evidently, space flying doesn't agree with them.
Well, anyway, not when they're being flown for reprocessing at the rehab center.
How you feeling, Matt? Shoulder okay?
It's dropping a little, that's all.
In a few minutes, you'll be at the best hospital in Venus City.
And we'll see that your thelanium is put in a safe place, Mr. Henshaw.
My thelanium?
There'll be a few formalities, of course, but after 150 years, no one's going to step forward and contest your claim. It's yours by right of discovery. You're a wealthy man, Matt.
Well, the three of us are alive. That's the important thing. Yep, we're alive thanks to the commander's nerve and my dumb luck.
Well, it wasn't all nerve and luck, Mr. Henshaw.
It was luck. Oak hadn't mistaken that elk for us. We'd have been shot without any warning.
Yeah, but suppose we had shot the elk the way we had a chance to.
Yes, you're right, Cadet. That wasn't luck. It was kindness.
Yeah, and the elk was just returning a favor.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. 1, 2, 3 kinds of fun at breakfast time. Space Patrollers, that's what you'll have the very first morning you start eating Chex, wheat Chex, or rice Chex. Because Chex are tops 3 ways, 3 wonderful ways. First, tops for taste. That's Chex, the only cereal that's toasted 3 times to make it crunchy as a cookie and 3 times as good. And second, Chex are tops for size, made in that modern bite-sized design for easy, happy eating. And third, Chex are tops for get up and go. Yes, a good breakfast with Chex gives you the kind of get-up-and-go you gotta have to be a real space patroller. That's what Commander Corey says, and that makes it official. Makes Chex the official breakfast cereal of the Space Patrol. But unofficially, I can tell you Chex are mighty good right out of the box or right out of your pocket anytime you want a treat. Yes, breakfast time or any time, have yourself 3 kinds of fun with Chex, the cereal that's tops 3 wonderful ways. Tops for taste, tops for size, and tops for real get-up-and-go. So go get 'em today. You'll love 'em. Chex, Wheat Chex, or Rice Chex. The only bite-sized cereals in the entire universe. The official cereals of the Space Patrol. And hey, here's a neat surprise. Swell Space Patrol trading cards. You get one free inside of every package of Wheat Chex and Rice Chex. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are hiding in the hold of a freighter piloted by a space pirate. Suddenly, waves of heat burst over them.
Wow, where's all that heat coming from?
The refrigeration system has broken down.
And every second we're getting closer to the sun. We'd better take over and change course before we suffocate.
There's worse danger than that in the next compartment.
Smoking rockets. Those chemicals.
Right. If they get a few degrees hotter, they'll blow the ship to atoms.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Strange Case of Space Pilot Prentice, when Rice Chex and Wheat Chex again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Len Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Ken Mayer, Bela Kobach, and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufel speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Chex and Wheat Chex again present Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.